Indianapolis.
It's the Fan Morning Show.
I throw, you catch. It's not that hard, okay? All right, get the out of here.
I'm going to talk a lot about drills and fundamentals.
Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it.
With Kevin Bowen.
Watch it.
On 93.5 and 107.5.
Boom, baby.
The Fan.
I got a little extra energy on this Friday morning. We're 48 hours away from game day. I don't know if last night got me going watching really a thriller between the Cowboys and the Buccaneers, or maybe it's just simply the presence of Brendan King back in studio. But here we are, Fan Morning Show, Kevin Bowen and Brendan King as well. Our first preview Friday, if you will, of a Colts game. We've been talking about it for 8 months. We're all sick and tired of it. I can't wait for Sunday, man.
KB, it might be the longest 8 months of all time. I seriously, with everything that has happened, and for all the topics that we have just talked about to dust, it's about time.
It is about time. It's about bleeping time, to say the least. And like I said, last night, man, that was a fun game. Really fun game. Starting this new sleep schedule, if you will, with the morning show, I'm kind of like, all right, how long am I going to make it? Dude, I was wired in that fourth quarter.
Whole game.
Locked
Whole
in.
game. Problem is, in my other fantasy league, I was playing Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, so the whole time I was like, no. And then,
yeah, for fans that might have missed it last night, you wake up and you see a back and forth game. What was the final? 31-29? It was kind of a weird score there at the end. And Brady throws for, over 300. Prescott throws for over 400. If you had Zeke and Mike Evans, I'm sorry. If you had literally anybody else, Antonio Brown, Gronk,
the Gronk owners this morning are
Amari Cooper, really anybody else in that game, you're going to wake up very, very happy. We'll get more into that as well. Some unfortunate Pacer news to hit on, which seems to be kind of the theme here as they start training camp in a couple of weeks. And obviously, a lot of Colts and Seahawks chatter. Greg Rakestraw at 8:30, Matt Taylor at 9 o'clock. We're going to have, again, we don't know Doug's last name, but he's prop bet guy, Doug, and he's got a great track record. So I don't think we need to ask any more questions than that. Just trust the guy.
It's not Zach Galifianakis, is it?
Yeah. I heard you singing the old Doug song earlier, and I was cracking up. So we'll have him on at 8 o'clock. There are some intriguing trends with the Seahawks and Colts. Basically, the Seahawks against the spread on the road have been horrible lately, which is kind of surprising considering their road record in general is very good. And the Colts at home against the spread have not been very good lately. So some stuff to throw at Doug in the 8 o'clock hour. And I want to hear from you guys as well. 317-239-1070 at KBowen1070 at BKing Sports. Is that right?
You got it.
It's been a while since I've rattled that off.
It's been a bit since we sat together. Actually,
it has.
Since the last time we sat together, Drake finally dropped his album, so that was good.
Well, we've had Kanye and Drake, right?
Man, I can't get. It takes me a few listens to get into Kanye stuff.
Yeah,
it really does.
I would say that is probably falls in line with my thinking as well. But definitely want to hear from you guys. Not a busy weekend college football around the state. IU, Purdue, Notre Dame, heavy favorites and their respective matchups. We'll talk a little high school football with Rake as well. Let's get into the unfortunate injury news right now with the Colts. Xavier Rhodes, Brendan, missed the first 2 days of practice this week with a calf injury. I cannot recall Xavier Rhodes missing much, if any, practice time last year. He played in every single game last season. This is very notable. It's notable for the fact that I would say of the position groups Chris Ballard feels the most unease about, it's cornerback. Not to mention it's your outside corner going up against DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Russell Wilson, and all of that. So as of right now, I would say Xavier Rhodes' status very iffy for Sunday, and that is very concerning to me.
When you think about Rocky Ya-Sin versus DK Metcalf, what's the first word out of your mouth?
Hell.
Yeah. I mean,
prayers.
Yeah. Four Hail Marys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bring
6
the rosary
Our Fathers
beads into Lucas
Drive
Oil.
up to South Bend, go to the Basilica.
Exactly.
KB, the Colts just can't have nice things. It's like problems go in one door, out the other, then they circle back and rob you again. That's what it is.
Yeah.
The robbers are in the neighborhood and they rob you twice.
Yeah, and honestly, you could say the same thing about the Pacers right now. It seems like from a health standpoint.
Goodness. I mean,
but if Rhodes doesn't go, that means Rocky Ya-Sin goes from being your third cornerback and still playing a good amount. Like, even if Rhodes plays, Rock is the nickel guy, the third corner. Kenny Moore would slide in the slot, and he's going to play a lot, and that means Seattle's going to target him a lot. And now if Xavier Rhodes can't go, Rock Ya-Sin plays every snap for you. That would be my assumption there. TJ Carey, as we know, he got banged up in that preseason opener. He's kind of been a guy that, almost by default has been your third corner. Now I would assume he plays a bigger role. Some people have asked me about Isaiah Rodgers. Yeah, I mean, I would maybe see if he could, play a little bit, but it's just a lot of uncertainty. We saw it last week at waiver cut time, or waiver claim time. The Colts decided to make 2 waiver claims at one position. Cornerback. It's a position Chris Ballard
2 7th-round picks.
Yeah, and it's a position that Chris Ballard hasn't felt good about since about May. And he's kind of churning it at that back end. He especially outside corners. Think of the longer, bigger guys. We saw it last night. I mean, Prescott had picking on what's his name, Jamel Dean. It seemed like just all game long. And those corners for both those teams got tested big time. Even if Xavier Rhodes was going to play, you knew Rock would be tested a whole lot. And what I've worried about with Rock now going into this third season, Brendan, is he's such a high-character guy. This is a big reason why they felt like he was worthy of that 34th overall pick. We've talked about it with Quitty Pay as well. You're kind of nitpicking here, but I almost feel like the so high character nature to Rock Ya-Sin's presence, I feel like it's high strung. I feel like when you watch him play, you don't see poise from him. There's a bit of a panic mode. That's when he gets grabby. That's when the wrestling background comes out, and all of a sudden you get grabby when you're exposed on an island in the NFL. Here come the flags, and here come quarterbacks targeting.
Did you believe Frank when he said that he thinks Rock looks comfortable and looks sharp?
If I was playing corner, Frank Reich would say that he's confident in me.
I mean,
that's just...
I get being positive, but you can't say that, Frank.
That's just Frank. Frank is never going to publicly, especially defensive players.
Yeah.
He's such an offensive guy. He's never going to go down that path. So, and we'll get into, breaking down this game specifically and give our predictions a little bit later as well. But of all the injuries you could have, I don't go very far down the list before I would have named Xavier Rhodes as the most important guy to have out there on Sunday.
It's one thing to defend a guy. I mean, you could defend your guys all day. I think as a coach, you should defend your guys. But after this guy's getting burned against the Detroit Lions in the second half of a preseason game, I mean, that's not... I mean, what are you looking at, KB?
Yeah, and that was a... boy, that play. Rock Ya-Sin didn't even have his mouth guard in. Just gets absolutely torched off the line of scrimmage. And an easy little pitch and catch there. So that is the big, I think, injury storyline as we get ready for Friday's final practice of the week. Kamoko Toure did not practice yesterday. He was limited on Wednesday, downgraded to out yesterday. We'll see what he does today. It's a groin injury for Toure. He's obviously a part of your third down, pass rush package, so he's the name to watch. I still don't think Eric Fisher plays. I mean, he was limited yesterday, limited Wednesday. Is one full practice in 8 months enough?
Maybe. I mean,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But would it surprise you in all the craziness of everything?
Right. It would definitely be another turn in the soap opera that's been the last kind of month and a half for the Colts.
This is the day of the young and the restless.
Yeah, exactly. I can feel the hourglass. Just see it on this TV right now. So we'll see official word on Fisher, obviously, later today. Quentin Nelson, back to practice. Great sign there. Paris Campbell, back to full participant. Mm-hmm. Great sign. And obviously, Carson Wentz continues to be full. So expect him to be under center. And just to add kind of salt in the wounds, the Seattle Seahawks, 53 players on their 53-man roster, all 53 have practiced the last 2 days. They do have a couple guys on IR.
Must be nice.
But all 53 have practiced.
Must be nice. Here's a question on corner. So you cut Andre Chachere, he gets picked up. Jonathan Gannon scoops him for the Eagles. How much is Chris Ballard driving into the complex now? And just in the back of his mind, he's driving. He's like, crap, that one got away.
Yeah, I think so. I think a little bit.
He would be really handy right now.
Yeah. A versatile guy, certainly. And you look at what TJ Carey brings. If all of a sudden you need Carey in that, kind of third corner role, could Chachere be a guy that helps you out if you have an injury at safety? So, when you're playing the Seattle Seahawks, and I go back to last year's playoff game against Buffalo, that first half, the main reason why you were losing at halftime was because Josh Allen got outside the pocket and made plays with his legs. He either extended plays and threw the ball downfield and hit chunks, or he did it on his own. They're much different body types, but that's Russell Wilson, man. Mm-hmm. That's what Russell Wilson does. So when you're talking about Sunday and the keys, can you keep Russell Wilson confined to that pocket? Don't let him get outside, because when he gets outside, he's one of the best deep ball throwers in the league, and you're banged up at corner. They're healthy at wideout. They've got a great duo. You know full well that the Seahawks are going to test the Colts big time. We'll get into a lot more of that. Again, Seahawks related. Brendan and I will give our predictions here for the Colts season record. And obviously our predictions not only for Sunday's game with the Seahawks, but a few more of what we're feeling good about. I said yesterday, Dallas covering 8.5. Mark and Mike Wells looked at me a little bit cross-eyed, and that easily cashed. So I just wanted to slide that in there, Mark.
Okay.
Well, do you want like a congratulations from me? Or,
when I have,
you also picked the Cowboys to win the NFC.
Now that Wells is out of studio,
well,
you just
someone's got to win the NFC.
What?
Well, I guess I shouldn't brag about being smarter than Wells in the first pick of the NFL season. Wells also laughed at us.
Patience to jack with you today.
He laughed at us about the Buffalo Bills, and then he went on to pick the Cleveland Browns.
That was the most
to go to the Super Bowl.
Hold on, please explain.
He loves Baker Mayfield.
Picked Cleveland to do what though?
Super Bowl, AFC Championship representative.
Yeah. He was laughing at us for picking the Bills, and then, without any irony at all, said, by the way, I'm picking Cleveland Browns.
And his quote was, Baker Mayfield is my guy. So, yeah, I don't know. Baker
is Wells on the next ticket to covering sports in Cleveland? Or
yeah, I don't know what got him to go there, but he did.
We're convinced
maybe his son's playing too much travel soccer in Ohio.
We're convinced his peanut butter and jellies had a little something added ingredient in it.
Yeah, I don't know if the Rock and Roll
Hall he brought food with him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lots of food. Yeah. Well,
really?
Certainly didn't have any food shortage in this studio. The old Mike Wells beat Pacers news to sneak in here for the second time this week, and this injury news, frankly, is much worse. Absolutely sucks. Edmund Sumner tears his Achilles yesterday in a workout. I would assume out for the season. Contract year for Edmund Sumner. Brendan, there weren't many individual bright spots or team bright spots for the Pacers last year. Edmund Sumner, to me, was unquestionably one of them, and this just flat out sucks.
Awful. I mean, just reiterate what I just said about the Colts with problems coming in one door out the other, then back in. I mean, same exact thing. And does Rick Carlisle know what he signed up for? Like, did he watch the dumpster fire last year and think that things are just going to be cool now that Bjorken's gone? I mean,
and along those lines, this has always been my biggest argument for why when people say run it back, I'm like, okay, wishful thinking. The track record of players on this roster with injuries is terrible. Sumner's in that group. It was a big reason why he fell to the second round coming out of Xavier, tore his ACL.
I remember that injury
in his senior season.
I was watching that game. That might have been a Butler game, actually. That was ugly.
Yeah, and obviously Brogdon, big reason why he fell to the second round. TJ Warren. I went on the Setting the Pace podcast with Alex Golden last night, and Golden mentioned to me how it's not just those two. Karis LeVert, an injury history. Miles Turner, there are questions of him coming out of Texas and just how healthy he could be. Jeremy Lamb, we've obviously seen that develop a little bit more. And when you talk Sumner specifically, BK, you're talking about the best perimeter defender on a team that struggles in that area big time. You're talking about probably the best athlete on the team as well. And the Pacers have admitted this several times over the past few years. The Pacers are I think a high basketball IQ team. They're a pretty high kind of basketball skill, shooting, dribbling, all those things, whatever. They are not high in the athleticism category compared to the rest of the NBA. They are, and again, they've been vocal about that. Why do they draft Cassius Stanley? Why do they draft Isaiah Jackson? Both those reasons fall into the we've got to get more athletic area. And now you lose Edmund Sumner, a guy that is really unique. I'm not going to sit here and act like Sumner is, should be a starter or whatnot. But when he comes off the bench, he plays at a pace and an athletic level that, frankly, I don't see anybody else on the roster matching.
He gave you a chance to win in Golden State last year.
Yes.
That was the Edmund Sumner game.
Right.
Where Bjorken starts him. I was like, all right, let's go. he gives you a shot to win that game.
That was when Victor was he had the trade that I think happened right then as well. But yeah, I mean Sumner he is a different type of athlete and just brings a different skill set that you need when you've lacked perimeter defense majorly. And now, similar to the Victor injury we saw a couple years ago, yes, Edmund Sumner's only 20, I don't know, did go in more last year. Similar to Victor, you have to be at that peak athletic level because you aren't this dead-eye shooter. The ball handling has always been a question for him. Now you throw in another major injury to him. Is he ever going to get to that level?
First thing I thought when I heard the news, other than feeling awful for Edmund Sumner, was, you need Chris Duarte to hit.
Yes, certainly.
No, there's no other option.
Right.
I mean, you needed it before. Now, who else do you turn to?
And toss in the TJ Warren news as well.
Yeah.
I know it's a 2 and a 3 probably if you're going to look at exactly a roster breakdown. And are there guys on this team that can pick up those minutes? Sure. But again, Sumner showed promise last year, and I think that's why this stings so much.
It hurts.
Felt like, again, unique player, all of that. So Edmund Sumner torn Achilles yesterday, and this just continues to add to the confusion of why I thought it was ludicrous the Pacers thought running it back was a smart decision, hoping for health to cooperate when it's a roster filled with guys that have never, frankly, been that healthy in their respective careers. Brendan King, Kevin Bowen, and the Fan Morning Show today, 93.5, 107.5. We'll get into a lot more Colts and Seahawks chatter the rest of the way. Join us, 317-239-1070.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Your home for indie sports. Now with even more ways to listen.
Listen on air.
Online at 1075thefan.com.
And on our free app.
Stay connected to all things indie sports, including the latest news, show blogs, and catch up on what you've missed with our podcast.
We're never more than just a click away.
Download our app at Google Play and on the App Store. From your home for indie sports.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's JMV. The Colts are back. It's BullseyeEventGroup.com. The Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. That is your pregame party before the Colts and the Seahawks battle. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
The goblet has dropped. Caesars Sportsbook is here. Download it. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up.
Indy 11's back home again this Saturday at 7 p.m. Tickets for Faith and Family Night featuring a post-game testimonial and Q&A with players are on sale now at Indy11.com.
This is Unibet, one of Europe's leading betting apps. And this is Nigel.
Hello.
Nigel has just been promoted from head of Unibet Europe to head of Unibet US. Nigel doesn't know anything about American sports.
QB Scramble. That's some sort of American frittata?
Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Get $500 risk-free and take advantage of the odds. Before Nigel figures them out. Unibet. Crazy about the odds.
Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Payless Liquors, your tailgating headquarters. Half-gallon sizes of Jim Beam White Label are only $26.99. Ron Rico Rum, $13.99. Pop-Off Vodka, $8.99. And Bud Light 15-pack aluminum bottles are only $15.99. Plus, sign up at PaylessLiquors.com for your chance to see Peyton and Edrin get their rings at the Colts-Rams game from the Bud Light Fan Zone. Payless Liquors has 26 family-owned Central Indiana locations, and they're open 7 days a week. Don't pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors.
We have made it to the NFL football season, and that has Prop Swap buzzing right now. I'm Kevin Bowen, and on the phone line is Luke Pergandy, owner of Prop Swap. And Luke, the thing about Week 1 is when you see teams win in Week 1, that's when those odds start to decrease majorly. This is the time. If you believe in a team before Sunday, this is the time to jump on them.
Yeah, this happens all the time, whether it's the odds going way down because a team wins. It happens every single year. You look at, let's say this week, Colts, just blow out the Seahawks. The books are going to overreact on Colts futures odds, so you may never see a high number again.
And
so if there's any idea, if you have any inkling you're going to bet on this team this year to win the Super Bowl, or Carson to win MVP, or pays to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, get in now, because it just takes one good game, especially the first game, and you'll never see a good number for the rest of the season.
And the other thing to note, too, is if you get through Week 1 and all of a sudden you saw something that you really like, you maybe can find great odds if someone has that ticket available on PropSwap. Even though the odds have decreased, remember, the odds on PropSwap, those are going to be the best odds in the country, so you could go to the site and potentially purchase one of those tickets.
Yep, that's right. People are the overreaction that occurs week by week is an advantage to gamblers. And PropSwap, you're obviously buying from an individual. You're not buying from a casino. So you can really take advantage of those overreactions and make a lot of money for yourself.
If you're looking for better odds on what your sportsbook is offering, look no further. PropSwap is your answer. It's a way to win bigger at sports betting, and there's never been a better time to join. Use promo code FREE100 to receive a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. So check out the new PropSwap.com or download the new and free PropSwap app today.
There's Pablo in his natural habitat, opening his internet bill in fear. He just saw his 12-month promotional price ended. Uh-oh, and he just discovered the equipment fees. Back away slowly.
If your internet bill drives you wild, just remember, you're not a bad person. You just need a straightforward price. Get AT&T Fiber. Unlimited internet with no price increase at 12 months. Visit att.com/no hidden fees. Limited availability in select areas.
There is nothing harder than being a parent right now. So if your house currently sounds like this, you need a break. And surprisingly, donating plasma at BioLife Plasma Services can give you a break. Stay with me here. It's a physical break from the kids. Yes, finally some alone time. Give your bank account a break. You could earn up to $1,200 in your first month. And a break from reality. Free Wi-Fi, baby. So book an appointment today to donate your life-saving plasma. BioLife. There's purpose in your plasma. Visit biolifeplasma.com to learn more.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, let your senses be your guide. Follow the incredible aroma of outdoor dining under a starlit night, or see the sunset over the Gulf, painting a magnificent orange and red sky. Feel the gentle breeze on a leisurely stroll along the new St. Pete Pier, or let every sense come alive at the Salvador Dali Museum. Sounds like it's time for a fall getaway. You can sense it. Plan your fall escape to America's best beaches at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
BMO Harris is where you are with banking tools you need where you need them, like fast Zelle transfers.
Who had the 3 cheese omelet? Mine was 5 cheese. Okay, then you owe $11.72. I also had a side of bacon. So then make that $15.39. I have a mimosa on the way. Okay.
With BMO Harris, you can split bills easily using Zelle once you finally figure out who owes what. When your bank is where you are. That's the BMO effect.
What makes one head of lettuce better than another? At Kroger, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best will do. That means not every leafy green leaves the field, and not every grape makes the grade. So when you shop Kroger, you know it's not just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Treat the family to the freshest, juiciest snack around. California red or black seedless grapes are on sale now for only 97 cents a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Sports Center update on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan is presented by Big O Tires, the team you trust.
All right, the Colts' final practice of the week will begin around noon. Carson Wentz continues to be a full participant. He's going to be under center on Sunday. The big name to watch, Xavier Rhodes today. The veteran corner did not practice the last 2 days. If he can't go, that means a whole lot of Rock Ya-Seen, and that's got to be music to the ears of the Seattle Seahawks. We know Jim Irsay's fired up about the opener. Here's Darius Leonard yesterday on a certain text he got from the owner at nearly 2 a.m.
It's nothing new, when anytime it's a big game or something, he's the owner, you want to make sure that you understand, the importance of it. So, it's not his first time, texting me or texting any player on the team. So, things like that you look for, and they just give you that little extra motivation. You go out, you say, okay, all right, it's already a chip on your shoulder, but when you got the owner, hitting you up, you got to make sure that you understand that how important this game is.
Brendan, I almost peed my pants last week, and Jeff Smolian called in. I can only imagine, what Leonard's singing when, oh boy, Jimmy from the Colts is texting me at 1:57.
2 a.m. text from Jimmy.
Do you know we have a Fan Morning Show exclusive? We have the actual audio of the voice text he left him.
Oh, okay. Well, you mind playing that?
Sure.
We will be there, and we need you there, loud and proud, believing we will come out victorious. So let's keep fighting and make this season great
Mark, will you please, from the Fan Morning Show account, will you tweet out like a screenshot of Jim Irsay in that video?
I will.
It is absolutely just unbelievable. You want to run through a brick wall when you see Jim Irsay in his weightlifting, get up, getting ready.
I've never seen that video.
You've never seen it?
No.
Okay. Last year they lose the season opener in Jacksonville. He's pissed off, obviously. That was before the Minnesota game. He goes on to talk about the Vikings and how they're, such a great team and all this. And, hey, it worked. The Colts dominated the Vikings. So we'll see if the owner's got anything up his sleeve, for public consumption here over the next 48 hours.
You know what? Going into Sunday, I kind of forgot when you laid an egg in Jacksonville last year, and that was Jacksonville, and this is Seattle, and this is potentially Metcalf versus Rock.
Yeah.
Eesh.
Yeah, worrisome.
I kind of forgot about the Jacksonville thing.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing.
I moved on from it until now.
Yeah, good thing to forget about, but unfortunately, when you lose 7 straight season openers, it's never too far away. I'm going to guess roof closed Sunday. I'm seeing 91 degrees. I think that might be too hot for our friends in the lower bowls that are sitting in the sun.
Well, do you think roof closed, window open?
Yeah. I'd be good with that.
Am I on something? I walked out the door today, and I took a deep breath in and just thought I was at a Notre Dame USC tailgate at 6 in the morning in October.
Don't tease me like that. Football weather.
You walked out. Oh, man, it was 55 degrees this morning.
Yeah. It was perfect. Speaking of great weather, tonight, Colts kickoff concert right here on the Circle. Gates open at 4:30. It is free. Go to Colts.com/concert to download tickets there. How about this? Free Bud Light seltzers for the first 500 fans in attendance there. So it should be a beautiful night, not only for that, but for high school football as well.
Yeah, to add to some tailgate festivities, come out on Sunday, Georgia Street. I'll be hanging out with you from about 10 until 1 o'clock. $3 Bud Lights on the Fan Bud Light tailgate on Georgia Street.
And that'll be every game.
Yeah, every home game. 1075thefan.com. Come hang out. It's free to come over, have some brews, have some food.
Perfect way to get your Sunday started. NFL season got started last night. The Bucs and the Cowboys in a great, great game. This is how it ended via Tampa radio.
29-28 Cowboys. 7 seconds left. Good snap. The spot. Here's the kick by Suckup. Is it good? It is good! Bucs take the lead at 31-29 with 2 seconds left. How about them Buccaneers defending the Super Bowl championship and taking the lead with just 2 seconds left in the game?
I missed radio calls like that with fans in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, great environment. I know we all hate Brady here in this market. He looked really good. Really good. And so did Dak Prescott. Wells saying Jameis Winston for comeback player of the year. Boy, Dak, hanging in there, delivering some big throws. Zeke gave him nothing. And Dallas, went toe-to-toe for 60 minutes without arguably their best player in Zach Martin.
I think Dan took a call the other day, and somebody asked, odds Jameis has a 30 touchdown and 10 interception season. I'm like, please. There's no way.
No chance.
Great for Dak. I feel bad for anybody that has that serious of an injury and has to be carded and
then got hurt again in camp.
Yeah, that's just sad stuff. So I'm not particularly a Dak fan. I'll never be a Cowboys fan, but it brought a smile to my face seeing him do so well. Even though I was going against him in fantasy, that wasn't
42
great.
of 58 for Dak for 403 and 3 touchdowns. Brady 32 of 50 for 379 and 4 touchdowns. I saw this earlier today. First game in NFL history where both teams threw for at least 50 passes and rushed fewer than 20 times.
Really?
True, just air attack
That's
for
a
both
shootout.
those teams. Bucs had 4 turnovers, and yet that suck-up field goal, 2-minute drive by Brady. Dallas had just taken the lead. Greg Zuerlein, who missed a 31-yarder earlier, really struggled from a kicking standpoint. They drive down the field. Kind of a questionable, could have been offensive pass interference call on Chris Godwin. I think it could have gone either way there. It doesn't get called. Suck-up makes that field goal. We talk about kickers so much. The kicker for the Seahawks on Sunday, Brendan King, Jason Myers, 35 straight makes. But he's missed 4 in his career inside of Lucas Oil. Nothing like
sabermetrics.
Nothing like a good little kicker, debate there.
You're ready to go with that tweet then?
I'm ready. It'll be tweeted.
You're ready to roll.
I'm gonna say Sunday at 10:30. It gets fired off. Chris Collinsworth. I don't know if he was right on this or not. I assume he's right. Why would he, lie early in a game like that? I believe he said near the start of the game that Tom Brady has never played an NFL game where his team has been eliminated from the playoffs.
Really?
Think about how many games Brady's played in his career.
Didn't Tennessee eliminate him?
But, like, going into that game, they were eliminated. So maybe they've been eliminated in a Week 17 game, but he's never started a game where the playoffs weren't possible.
Wow. That's remarkable.
Yeah, Brady looked really good last night. Speaking of bad injury news, we talked about it earlier. How about the Baltimore Ravens, man?
Woo!
Marcus Peters, their Pro Bowl corner. Gus Edwards, their emerging running back who is going to take over or was going to take over for J.K. Dobbins, who got hurt earlier in camp. They both tear their ACLs on back-to-back plays yesterday in practice.
Max Kellerman is on the ESPN Morning Show now with Keyshawn and J-Will, and they were saying that, Le'Veon Bell's signed to the practice squad. They might go after Latavius Murray.
Sounds like
2014? Right.
Devontae Freeman's on the practice squad.
Yeah, is this 2013?
Right.
I mean, congratulations.
It sounds like Latavius Murray will be signed to their active roster. I know we've got Brian that want to talk about a Colts trade. I assume that's related maybe to this. Mm-hmm. That's my guess. So we'll get to Brian when we come back from the break because I do have some thoughts on that. Week 4 high school football, Zionsville, Franklin Central on our airwaves. Ben Davis at Center Grove. Did I see Center Grove ranked 11th in the nation?
Yes. Whew. Yeah, they're not bad.
A little Mudsock action. HSC and Fishers, gotta love that. A couple undefeated teams. Guerin at Brebeuf, Columbus North at Roncalli, Carmel at Pike, great West Side battle, Brownsburg at Avon, Chittard Cathedral, great little North Side action there.
Does it mean the same even though Chittard's 0-3?
Oh, it always means something. Probably means more. Hey, frankly, probably means more Chittard than it does Cathedral. I won't.
Hey, settle down there, Cathedral boy.
Hopefully, Bill Peoples and the Irish don't hear that. But I'm just being honest. I know it means a whole lot to Colleen Bowen.
Hey, Carter St. John's a baller. You say too much and he'll get you.
And to be fair, Chittard has had a very difficult start to their schedule, but still, it was surprising to see them lose to Brebeuf. LN at LC, Noblesville at Westfield Speedway at Ritter. As we talked about earlier, college football slate. The Indiana schools all heavy favorites going into their games this weekend. IndyCar back on the track tomorrow. Quals tomorrow out in Portland. The race is a 3:30 green flag on Sunday. Will Power won the last race out there in 2019. Pandemic, no race in Portland last year. All right, we come back on the Fan Morning Show. It's Kevin Bowen. It's Brendan King. We'll get to Brian asking about a Colts trade with the Ravens running back situation is my guess on that front. Still want to get to Carson Wentz, our individual expectations for him this season, and more into the Seattle-Indianapolis matchup on Sunday. You're listening to The Fan right here on 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Soccer Saturday between Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan.
USA Today Sports Plus is the new sports app that puts fans first. While others are at the press conference, they're in the locker room with more reporters in more cities than any other news outlet. Get the latest scores, stats, and standings and enjoy interactive experiences as well as group chats with their award-winning sports writers. If you're a fan of football, you need USA Today Sports Plus for this upcoming season. Download it from the Apple or Google Play stores today. USA Today Sports Plus. Fan harder.
Really does have it all. Savings, service, selection, and a whole lot more. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified. Every Q certified vehicle includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and not one, but 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. But that's not all. Each Q certified vehicle on our lot has fewer than 100,000 miles or is less than 9 years old. Looking to sell your car? Hubler will pay top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Come see why Hoosiers have trusted Hubler for 60 years. Visit any of our 13 locations today or click drivehubler.com. Hubler has
it all. My crusade for the perfect pizza crust has led me here, pining over a backyard wood-fired oven. But how do I bake this build into my budget? Where can I get some solid guidance on my finances? Who can help me understand if I have the dough for this?
A little financial advice. At Regions, we know that's important because your Life Green checking account comes with Greenprint, financial planning with a banker who will help you create a personal budget and live in the moment. Make your appointment at regions.com/Greenprint. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
The NFL is back and FanDuel Sportsbook is celebrating with 40-1 odds on any Week 1 game. Who doesn't want to win $200 on a $5 bet? This is no Hail Mary. It's that simple. New customers get 40-1 odds when you place your first wager. FanDuel sports betting made simple, and the app is easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid in as little as 24 hours. I'm looking where I might put my Week 1 wager, and it's hard not to put my money on the Colts, who are underdogs at home against the Seahawks. Offers like this are just one of the many reasons I love betting the NFL on FanDuel. They're the #1 rated sportsbook app in America. They're safe, secure, and easy to use. And like I said, they get lightning fast payouts in as little as 24 hours. On top of all that, they're always hooking you up with exclusive odds boosts, great promotions, and so much more. So sign up with promo code MARK and you could win $200 on a $5 bet. That's promo code MARK, M-A-R-C. 21 and over in present Indiana. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $200. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
PNC Bank believes that if your smartwatch can help you avoid overdoing it during a workout, then your bank should be able to help you avoid an overdraft fee. Introducing Low Cash Mode, available with Virtual Wallet, the financial watch out that gives you advance warning, multiple options, and at least 24 hours of extra time to help avoid an overdraft fee. Because we believe how you handle overdrafts should be in your control, not just your bank's. And now through October 12th, earn up to $300 when you open and use a select new Virtual Wallet product. Simply establish a qualifying direct deposit. To learn more, visit a branch or pnc.com/checking offer. Virtual Wallet with Low Cash Mode from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference. Low Cash Mode is a service mark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. Virtual Wallet is a registered trademark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Is it time for a job change? This may be what you're looking for. Coca-Cola Consolidated Whitestown is having a 2-day on-the-spot hiring event Friday, September 10th, noon to 8 p.m. and Saturday, September 11th, 8 a.m. to noon at 3690 South 500 East, Whitestown. Positions available for Class A CDL drivers, driver trainees. We'll provide training to obtain Class A CDL. Driver helpers, merchandisers, and warehouse. 2-day on-the-spot hiring event Friday and Saturday, September 10th and 11th at Coca-Cola Consolidated, 3690 South 500 East, Whitestown.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMS was our answer. HIMS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/love. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/love. That's forhims.com/love for your free online visit. forhims.com/LOVE.
BetRivers Sportsbook is ready to make this football season one to remember. All season long, you can score at BetRivers Sportsbook with free bets, odds boosts, and more. With player props, thousands of game lines, and live in-game betting, BetRivers Sportsbook delivers a best-in-class sports betting experience and has an experienced customer service team to back it up. Visit BetRivers Sportsbook today and bet this football season with a local trusted team that puts you first. Go to BetRivers.com and be a winner. Partner of French Lick Casino Resort. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448. Playable only in Indiana.
1, 2, 3, My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
It's Brendan King in with us to cap the week. You know, BK, I feel like any game on Sunday, obviously fans would be super, super pumped for, but just the fact that like the Colts start at home with Seattle and the Rams, that just adds to it. I've never thought Lucas Oil was a raucous environment. I think it's going to be awesome on Sunday.
It's going to be amazing, and I can't wait to be in the press box. 66,000, just to see 66,000 people again in kind of a conjoined area is going to be great. I mean, being at the 500 was cool.
Yeah.
But you know, obviously people were split up in the grandstands and whatnot, but 66,000 with the roar just coming down onto Russell Wilson. Can't wait. Can't wait to see the tailgate on Sunday. Folks coming by on their way, $3 Bud Lights, Georgia Street, fan Bud Light tailgate. It's going to be great.
Cannot wait for that. We're going to have Doug, the prop bet guy. Doug, he doesn't have a last name. We just go prop bet guy with Doug. He's going to give you some insight at 8 o'clock. Greg Rakestraw, 8:30. Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor at 9 o'clock. Let's get to Brian. He's been hanging around for quite a while. Brian, thanks for being patient with us.
No problem. I got two things. One, what about the Colts trading a running back for one of the 10 defensive backs that Baltimore's got on the roster? The other thing, the last thing I want to listen to every morning is it should be KB and BK in the morning.
You're breaking up a little bit, Brian. I heard KB and BK in the morning. Thank you for that. I appreciate you calling in and listening. This was a popular question I got asked yesterday, Brendan, when the news came out about Gus Edwards going down. The Colts have a very diverse running back room. Baltimore, I mean, it's incredible how many injuries they've suffered already this year. And I feel like every year I always am like, who's Baltimore's running back? You know, they just seem to like kind of rotate guys.
I feel like Mark Ingram was there forever.
Handful of years. I saw a stat that's what I kind of thought, but then someone said that they've had 7 different leading running backs over the last 7 years. But anyways, a lot of people ask me about what could you get for Marlon Mack? What could you get for Jordan Wilkins? Someone asked me if you get a 3rd or 4th round pick for Wilkins. No chance you could get a 3rd or 4th round pick for Jordan Wilkins. And frankly, to me, your run game means too much to part ways with one of them. And I know Jonathan Taylor's been really durable. And yes, Brian brings up a good point. You've got, issues at cornerback right now. But in over a 17-game season, I'm not parting ways with either of them.
So obviously you're not trading JT or Naheem. You don't, that's obvious. Would you rather, I guess if a situation came, would you rather part ways with Marlon Mack or Jordan Wilkins?
Well, probably Mack because he's coming off the Achilles.
I'm with you.
What team is trading for Marlon Mack coming off the Achilles?
Not many.
That's a big question mark, especially when, a little preseason film, it wasn't great preseason film. I think we have a misconception of what player trades go for in the NFL. It's not as rich as you think, particularly with running backs. And I think with how the Colts are built, while there have been different running backs over the past, few years behind this O-line that have performed well, Jonathan Williams back-to-back 100-yard games, I just think you want to take pressure off of Carson Wentz. To me, you don't want to be in scramble mode at running back this season.
There were times last year where if your catchphrase and your mantra is run the damn ball, you need to run the damn ball. There were times last year I feel like that things got away, and it might be because Jonathan Taylor had to miss a game due to COVID, but if that's going to be your mantra and you pride yourself on the run and you need to help out Carson Wentz, it's imperative, KB, that the run game is the star-studded part of your offense.
Yeah, and I want that insurance policy. Like, if I'm the Colts, and I also, again, don't think the return would be that immense. I really don't think you're getting higher than a 6th or 7th round pick. Look at running back trades that happen. Latavius Murray's not good enough to be in the Saints. I don't know if that was a cap situation, and they signed Latavius Murray, the Ravens, and they're in a pretty good spot, all things considered, with able to get a veteran guy that's proven himself in the league.
You know who's out there right now for Baltimore? AP.
Oh, gosh.
He still hasn't signed with that, and he's not retired.
You know the first name that popped into my head when you said that?
Yeah.
Trent Richardson.
Oof.
Yeah. I know. I can't believe I said that. Or was thinking that.
Does Trent Richardson already have an XFL deal for when the Rocks league begins?
Yeah. I don't know if he played in that league over at Lucas Oil a few months back. I think you had to pay to play in the league. If I'm
yeah, we can ask Rank about that. He was announcing it.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was.
Yeah. Hey, was Trent Richardson out there?
Rank is going to join us at 8:30. He's Brendan King. I'm Kevin Bowen. You're listening to the Fan Morning Show. BK, Carson Wentz. It's unfortunate that we're going to enter the regular season and we just haven't seen a whole lot. To me, there's a good amount of unknown in predicting this season and predicting what Carson Wentz looks like. I mentioned it at Beers with Bowen, and thank you for helping out with that on Wednesday. I really, really appreciated that.
You're welcome.
Carson Wentz was supposed to throw 300 passes.
Yeah.
And 11 on 11 during training camp. He threw 24. That's a very small percentage of what he was hoping to get in. Not to mention preseason games, if you were going to play him at all in those games as well. it is just a lot of unknown with that guy right now. As best as you can, based off what you've seen in camp, your expectations for Carson Wentz this season.
Well, let's go back to Phillip Rivers last year. He was a top 10 quarterback when it came to passing yards. 4,169, 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. You think about what Wentz can do. I think Wentz can easily eclipse the passing yardage if he stays healthy. If he stays healthy, and if he is what we saw, KB, in the limited, extremely limited 11-on-11 snaps. And again, I'm not a 7-on-7 guy. I really don't take a ton from 7-on-7. You mentioned you don't chart it, and I don't learn a lot from it. So from the limited 11-on-11 stuff we saw, Wentz, is he up towards 4,300? Aaron Rodgers, 4,300 yards last year on the dot. Can Carson Wentz get to maybe a 28, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions? I'd be pretty happy with that.
Oh, yeah, I think you would definitely sign up for that. I'm not as, gung-ho on the yards. I think when you have this run game and you lean on that, I don't, yards, I think can be a little bit skewed. Obviously, we saw both teams last night rely heavily on the air. I just don't think that the Colts want to be like that. I'll start here. What I think you like about Carson Wentz and what I notice at Grand Park is, and this sounds very elementary, but, dude, you see a lot of talent. You see a lot of talent in his ability to throw the football. I think he opens up a lot more of the field. The run-pass option threat, the RPO game, I think is going to be something you really tap into. And I don't think the Colts did a good enough job last year of having a run game that really was their strength late in the season, and they couldn't get the play-action game and the major chunk plays off that. I think you've got to get that. And frankly, that's a big storyline on Sunday. Jamal Adams is an absolute freak. Jamal Adams at safety wants to be a linebacker. So he's going to play close to the line of scrimmage. You're going to see some 3 safety, some single high safety, or some 3 DB, single high safety looks, and you stick it in the belly of Taylor, and if you can establish them and play into the play action, Carson's going to have some chances to tap into that arm strength and get down the field. Obviously, the concerns are this. His accuracy has gone down every season since the ACL injury. And you just worry about the scar tissue. This isn't... I know Frank Reich has gotten Andrew Luck to play at an extremely high level, got Rivers to play at a high level, got Jacoby Brissett to play at a higher level than he was in his career. But what did that scar tissue, what has that done to Carson Wentz? What has another injury done to him? That is the unknown. That's the scary part. I think a healthy Wentz can be a top 12 quarterback in this league, and I think having the support around him is really, really big. But I go back to something I asked Frank, I think when we had him on at training camp. When they made the trade for Carson Wentz, they made it very clear that they needed to rebuild his base, his fundamentals from feet up. What has the lack of practice time? What has that injury done to that focus? That was the major, major focus. Basically, they felt like Carson last year, his feet would get too wide, especially when pressure happened, kind of fundamentals would break down. That dude hasn't been in one uncontrolled setting yet. He hasn't faced a starting defense very often in camp. That is my worry and why I expect to see some up and downs early out of him because I think it was just such a critical part of his offseason focus, and he just didn't get a whole lot of time in the uncontrolled settings to really, really drill that.
The worst he has seen from a defensive line perspective where people were actually trying to want to touch him is Scott Milanovich with a bunch of padded sticks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
What's it going to be like when Seattle's D-line's coming at him?
Right. It's all high school game of, we're playing Greg Oden this week. Here's a broom, and our 6'2" assistant coach is going to hold it up in the paint. That's what it's been. Another thing on that point, this offensive line is pass protecting for a much different quarterback this year. Last year, statue, he ain't getting out of the pocket, and he's getting rid of the ball quick. Carson wants to hold on to a little bit more, and he wants to get out of the pocket. How they protect, I think, will be an interesting storyline as well. Again, we'll take your tweets, K-Bo and 1070 on Twitter, at BKingSports. Doug, the prop bet guy, going to join us here in about 10 minutes, and Greg Rakestraw at 8:30. Let's get to Mark Dykton. I got to know.
All
All right, we are saving our Colts and Seahawks predictions for the game till later in the show. But let's go more AFC South. Cardinals-Titans. Who's winning?
We got a line on that game?
I believe the Titans are favored.
In Nashville, correct?
Yes.
You got points?
That's a great game.
Check on that right
That's
now.
a nice Sunday game.
That's a good one.
I'm going to go Titans, but I am higher on the Cardinals than I think most.
Same.
I forgot they got A.J. Green. I don't know if A.J. Green's got anything left in the tank, but like a DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, Rondale Moore.
Larry Fitzgerald?
Is he still doing it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's...
I don't know if Fitzgerald's still.
Yeah, I thought
didn't he sign? He signed, right?
I thought he hung it up.
I'm pretty sure he signed.
No, he is a free agent.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that line? It's got to be Titans by like...
Titans are 3-point favorites,
Yeah, I was gonna guess
and
a
the
field goal.
over-under is 52.
Yeah, I like the Titans. I don't know
What did you
if
say where points were?
3-point favorites, 52 is over-under.
I don't know if I'm taking the points, but I like the Titans.
I might take the Cardinals points.
Yeah.
All right. The stinker of the weekend, Jaguars-Texans.
Oof.
Gosh.
If the Jaguars can't win that game, that is truly the toilet bowl.
Yeah, I will go with Jacksonville, but it's in Houston, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
The game that I really like, two games that I like, I'm taking the Chargers at Washington. I like the Chargers, and I like Miami at New England. I think Miami's getting 3 points. I mean, isn't there? I know Tua had issues last year, but isn't there something to say about Mac Jones in his first start?
I think so. You know, Mac Jones is my backup fantasy QB. I'm just kind of stashing him for just in case.
Yeah.
You know what game I really love? I love the Sam Darnold revenge game.
Oh, Carolina and
Panthers
Jets.
-4.
So you like Carolina? In
I'll
that
take
game?
Carolina -4. Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously the first start for.
Give me some Sam Darnold revenge game.
Zach Wilson in that game.
Well, that kind of goes into my next question. What game outside of the Colts game are you most looking forward to?
You know, after watching those joint practices, I left feeling pretty decent about Sam Darnold. Better than I thought I would. Christian McCaffrey's a stud. You know, Zach Wilson, he's got a defensive head coach. And look, Sam Darnold had nothing go his way in New York. If he wins this game for Carolina, I mean, that's full circle for him, KB.
To me, it's Browns-Chiefs. I think that's kind of the clear-cut one for me. I also like Steelers-Bills a little bit.
Browns-Chiefs for me. I want to see Mike Wells' AFC representative get pasted.
Yeah, what were you guys talking about when I was gone?
Oh, my gosh.
Baker's MVP run.
All right, we have Prop Bet Doug coming up soon, but I want to get a couple of these are bets that I like heading into Colts-Seahawks, and I want to get your thoughts. Over DK Metcalf, over 73.5 receiving yards.
Oh, my gosh.
Minus 115.
Yes.
His average per game last season was 81.4.
He might hit that by halftime.
By the end of the first quarter, maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I think that is an absolute over.
Michael Pittman Jr., over 48.5 receiving yards.
Dude, I did it last night as well. Michael Pittman continues to get drafted so low in these fantasy leagues that I'm in. I feel like you look at the playoff game last year, 10 targets when T.Y. Hilton's on the field. I think Michael Pittman's going to be heavily targeted. And, I would say over on that as well.
And plus, he was working out with Carson this summer.
Yeah.
And they got a rapport.
I mean, he's probably gotten the most time with Carson of anybody.
I mean, how many guys can say they have a true rapport with Carson Wentz on the field?
Yeah, I would say definitely over there.
Jonathan Taylor, over 83.5 total yards.
Life's too short to bet the under, boys.
Gimme. Last year, into the season, 7 straight games of at least 74 rushing yards. So if you're going off that, you got to continue to ride it. Now, Seattle's run defense has been pretty good. And really, this is weird, and we'll get into this a little bit more later. Everything you see from Seattle screams you need to attack their corners. Ideally, that's probably not what the Colts want to do. You know, they would rather pound Jonathan, I think, play off that. But again, Seattle, the Colts have cornerback issues. You can make the argument Seattle's got bigger cornerback questions. So how that plays out, I think, will be a really interesting dynamic.
Carson Wentz, over 1.5 touchdowns at plus 150.
Man, those are great odds.
That's really nice.
That's a home run right there.
You know, touchdowns are such like a skewy thing. You know, you get in the red zone and you throw a shovel pass, and all of a sudden that becomes a touchdown pass. So,
or Brady just a little dump, and there you go.
Here's Gronk blocking, and then he all of a sudden goes out for a pass. No Eric Fisher. Maybe want to run it a little bit more in the goal line.
I think Brady had 4 last night, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think the plus 150 is too good to pass up.
Yeah. And also, if you don't think Carson Wentz is going to play well, you can get him over a half an interception at plus 105. So you can double up and get him to get 2 touchdowns
so he only
and 1
needs
interception.
to throw 1 pick?
Yeah, at plus 105.
I did want to note, again, Carson Wentz against the Seahawks, guys. Do you believe in past history, like having anything to do with performance in this game?
Not usually, but the Seahawks are kind of his demons.
0-5 in his career, 61%, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The Eagles never scored more than 17 points.
Ouchie.
Now, he did leave one of those games early. Obviously, the personnel Seahawks have changed. Obviously, he's with the Colts. Ken Norton, their defensive coordinator, was there for 3 of those 5 meetings. So, I think of all the teams you'd want to see week 1, if you're Carson Wentz, Seattle will probably be last. But
we can get some Pete Carroll, like, staring at the scoreboard with his stupid face.
Last one, when you're in the red zone, a tight end is quarterback's best friend. Jack Doyle to score a TD at any time in the game, plus 260.
Man, you talk about guys slipping out, and just catch one.
It's your graduating class, boy.
I know. I'm a little bit more on the Mo Alley Cox.
I'd be interested to see what an anytime touchdown for Kylan Granson would be.
Yeah, I'd guess plus 400 or 500.
I would entertain that.
Right.
Just a couple bones.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. Ed, we see you hanging on the phone lines. We're going to get to Doug, the prop bet guy, next. But, Ed, we'll get to you a little bit later. Still got to give our season predictions and dive deeper into this Seahawks matchup on Sunday. Doug, the prop bet guy, going to join us when we come back on the Fan Morning Show.
When you sign up for BP Me Rewards, you can get 5 cents off every gallon of gas every time at BP and Amoco stations. So go on, treat yourself. Download BP Me Rewards and start saving today.
Catch me, Joe Wiz, host of the Fine Line College Edition, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on The Fan. Brought to you by BetRivers.com, the sportsbook site for sports bettors.
Indy 11's back home again this Saturday at 7 p.m. Tickets for Faith and Family Night featuring a post-game testimonial and Q&A with players are on sale now at Indy11.com.
Boost and Cricket charge more for unlimited 5G. Metro doesn't. Introducing the big 5G upgrade from Metro by T-Mobile. Just $25 a month gets you unlimited 5G and a free 5G smartphone. That's half the price of Boost and Cricket's top plans. So ditch your overpriced connections and switch to Metro, the leader in prepaid. Experience 5G speed at no extra cost and step up big time with the big 5G upgrade. Get 1 line of unlimited 5G smartphone data plus a free Samsung Galaxy 5G when you trade in. All with the power of the T-Mobile 5G network. Rule your day with 5G. Only at Metro. Limited time in-store only. If congested data users greater than 35 gigabytes per month notice lower speeds, and Metro customers notice lower speeds versus T-Mobile due to deprioritization. Leader based on prepaid subs June 2021. Save half based on 1-line Boost and Cricket unlimited plan. See store for details.
Is it time for a job change? This may be what you're looking for. Coca-Cola Consolidated Whitestown is having a 2-day on-the-spot hiring event Friday, September 10th, noon to 8 p.m. and Saturday, September 11th, 8 a.m. to noon at 3690 South 500 East, Whitestown. Positions available for Class A CDL drivers, driver trainees. We'll provide training to obtain Class A CDL. Driver helpers, merchandisers, and warehouse. 2-day on-the-spot hiring event Friday and Saturday, September 10th and 11th at Coca-Cola Consolidated, 3690 South 500 East, Whitestown.
Fall in Indy. And for 20 years, Rhino Shield's been covering Indiana homes like your neighbor Elsie.
My husband, he had been reading about Rhino Shield. We were just impressed.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
And we had our, all the trim and everything done. And they even did the sealing of our front porch.
Indianapolis fall just got better. Celebrate Rhino Shield covering Indiana homes for 20 years for 20% off the regular price.
Oh my, it looks brand new. Saves us painting, and we get compliments even today about how nice it looks and everything.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The first bet on Caesars Sportsbook app is up to $5,000 risk-free, people. When I told my team about the idea, they said I was being too wonderful and magnificent. But I don't care how awesome this makes me. I'm doing this for the people. So just download the app, and that first bet is up to $5,000 risk-free. Caesar made an app for the people, people.
Must be 21. Offer valid in Indiana only and for new players. Paid in bet credits. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Your friends are hosting an online viewing party to watch a soccer match. But if your slow upload speeds were to make you sound like an evil robot.
Pass the ball. Pass the ball.
Whoa, who is that?
I'm sorry.
You're not an evil robot. You just need better internet. AT&T Fiber delivers a faster internet experience with 25 times faster upload speeds than cable. Visit att.com/25 times faster.
Limited availability in select areas based on Internet 1000 wired upload connection speed. First major cable providers 1 gig service with uploads of 35 megabits per second. Restrictions apply.
Miles of pristine white sand below, expansive cerulean blue skies above, and wonderment everywhere you look. This is St. Pete Clearwater, Florida in the fall. Here, the senses awaken with the first morning light. Emerald green waters gently lap the shore. A calming Gulf breeze floats through the air. It's vivid, it's vibrant, and it's the perfect getaway. Plan your fall escape to America's best beaches at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live in the moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
It's The Fan Morning Show.
We'll have some classes at times.
Hey, quit calling the plays, all right? Hey, we got to run the ball. When we pass, watch. We'll run the ball. Can we run it down there? We can run it down. Yeah, Jeff. Hey, so we will. All right, when we call pass plays, block.
With Kevin Bowen.
Boom, baby.
On 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Welcome into the Fan Morning Show. A loaded Friday show as we got a ton to get to. Colts season opener Sunday at 1 p.m. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. It's a Fox broadcast TV-wise. Brendan King in studio with me. We're going to have Greg Rakestraw at the bottom of the hour. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, at 9 o'clock. Right now on the Payless Liquors hotline, though, it is Prop Bet Guy. That's at Prop Bet Guy on Twitter. BK, how about these numbers, okay? So Doug is,
hit me.
Is his name. Doug, 106-64 last year in the NFL. Winning record in 15 of the 17 weeks.
It's quite the resume.
He's got a 62% winning record over the last 2 seasons.
That's quite the resume.
We got a guru joining us here.
That's
Doug.
big time, Doug.
Doug, thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, tricks of the trade. How the hell are you 62%?
You know, I found a niche with these player prop bets on a weekly basis. I crunch the numbers. I dig through pretty much every game, and I've been fortunate enough to develop a system, that's clearly working for me. And I took it to Twitter last year to some great results.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Okay, let's get to our game right here locally. A little bit of injury concern in the secondary for the Colts right now. It's a close line. The over/under's at 50 for this game. What do you like, Colts-Seahawks?
Yeah, so, in terms of the player props for the Colts and Seahawks, I think with all the uncertainties with some injuries, the books were really late to actually release these lines. I only saw them pop up late yesterday. One line I am looking at, which might not be the most popular for your listeners, is Carson Wentz to throw an interception. You can get that at pretty much even money right now. It's not a knock on him. I think he's good. I think he's actually, I think he's going to be good as the season goes on. But such limited no preseason reps, I should say, and such limited practice reps with a new team. And we saw him last season, 15 interceptions in 12 games. Seattle secondary isn't great, but even they had 14 interceptions in 16 games last season. I mean, look, we just saw Tom Brady throw 2 picks versus a very bad Dallas secondary. It doesn't take much just to throw one. So, that's one bet I am looking at for the Colts game.
Doug, it's Brendan. From a Jonathan Taylor running back perspective, last year, his rookie year in the pandemic season, fans didn't get to see a lot of him in person. Do you think coming into this year from a betting perspective, he's being slept on a tad?
A little bit, yeah. I'm surprised he's a little undervalued. I mean, he, as the season wore on and, the Colts really fed him first-team running back reps, I mean, he looked fantastic. I think his line for this game is in the low 70s. Seattle's run defense is a little tougher, but, with the Colts and their offensive line and their scheme, I do like him in week 1. And overall for the season, I think he's going to have a tremendous year.
Again, it's at PropBetGuy on Twitter. Doug is joining us here on the Fan Morning Show, a 62% winning record over the last 2 NFL seasons. Doug, leaving the Colts-Seahawks matchup, anything else player prop that you really like here in week 1?
Yeah, I mean, you can't help but look at on the other side of the ball, DK Metcalf. Like you said, the Colts secondary is a little banged up. His line is set in the high 70s. He's a guy I'm looking at. I mean, it doesn't take much for him to get into the 80s, 90s, and even 100 yards. Russell Wilson will take some deep shots with him. He's a freak. Such a strong season last year in his second year. He's only looking like he's primed to take, even that next step forward this season.
Hey, Doug, anywhere else on the Colts, maybe Michael Pittman Jr., from a perspective that you think he's being slept on too?
Oh, absolutely. He at times last year he looked like he was like really primed to break out. I know it was his rookie season. He went through his ebbs and flows. Without T.Y. Hilton, he's looking like, potentially he could be the guy in that passing attack, who he becomes Wentz's go-to. I'm not necessarily looking at him for this week, just with all the uncertainty around Wentz. But his line is at 48.5 yards. His season total is at over 800 yards, which is, over the course of a 17-game season, that's less than 50 yards per game. He's a guy who I think, in the right circumstances, if Wentz shows that he's capable of running this offense, could be, a 1,000-yard guy, especially with the uncertainty around T.Y. Hilton and his neck injury.
Yeah, I like Pittman over on those yards here in week 1. It's Doug at PropBetGuy on Twitter. Join us here on the Fan Morning Show. Doug, do you play around with team lines at all, over unders, college, or is it just player props in the NFL?
It's really just player props for me. I do the NFL, I do baseball, I do basketball. I dabble a little bit in college football, if I see any value. But I'm pretty much strictly just looking at player props. But it does really correlate to how I view, how teams will play, which could correlate with spreads and totals and whatnot.
Doug, I put a little money on Rookie of the Year before Cam Newton got cut by the Patriots. I put about $20 on Mac Jones plus 500. What do you think about Mac Jones maybe being on that list past Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, you're looking great. He's looked great this preseason. Obviously, being named the Week 1 starter is a huge help for him. It's a quarterback-driven league. So you got to think that one of the 3 quarterbacks starting week 1 between Lawrence, Wilson, and Jones are the front runners for this award. You can make a case for all 3. I think Jones is arguably playing for the best team of the 3. So if he can lead that team, into the playoffs and hold himself, decently well running that offense, I think he could definitely take home the award.
Again, it is a record last year of 106-64 for Doug, winning in 15 of the 17 weeks. It's at PropBetGuy on Twitter. Doug joins us on the Fan Morning Show. Doug, thanks for the insight. Really enjoy it, and hopefully you continue your hot run here.
Yeah, appreciate it. And check me out. All my plays are on Pickswise.com. We're just a massive betting guide. We have every sport, every game, every day. It's all free. We do obviously props, but straights, futures, parlays. It's all free. Pickswise.com. Come check us out.
I love it. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
That's Doug right there. I don't know if he's jumping out of a trunk, like, a scene in The Hangover, but Doug joined us, Prop Bet Guy, on the Fan Morning Show. I have Greg Rakestraw in about 20 minutes and Matt Taylor at 9 o'clock. I really like Michael Pittman over on yards in week 1.
Yeah.
That's the one I keep on coming back to. The Wentz even money interception, that's probably a decent bet, but.
Do you see Paris Campbell as a legit number 2 right now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if healthy, I asked Zach Kiefer yesterday, if Paris Campbell's healthy, he's going to get as many targets as Michael Pittman in my mind. Like, he's going to be a huge focal point. And, like, the thing you got to think about with Campbell, too, is he's touching the ball, jet sweeps, reverses, screens, just kind of like the high percentage touches that, maybe some other guys aren't going to get. So I think definitely he's going to be along those lines. I know Ed's been hanging on for a while. Let's get to Ed on the phone lines. What's up, Ed?
Hey, KB, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, I was just wondering, Dak and Brady looked pretty good last night. They didn't face any live stuff in preseason. I'm sure they were not, you know what I mean? Does that change your perception of maybe what Wentz might look like? I mean, they looked in midseason form last night, didn't they?
Yeah, they definitely did. Thank you for the call, Ed. It doesn't change my opinion. I think you got to isolate Carson Wentz in a different scenario than Dak or Brady. Obviously, Brady. Now, I thought Brady played a little bit in the preseason.
Did he?
Thought he did.
I did not watch any Buccaneer preseason football.
Yeah, I did not either. But obviously, Brady and, with Dak, Kellen Moore's been with Dak a whole lot. Carson Wentz is coming to a new team. That's new personnel. Carson Wentz got benched to end last season and led the league in interceptions. And as we were talking about a little bit earlier, he's got to rebuild the fundamentals, and he's going up against a team that has really had his number. So, you're going to find quarterbacks in week one that played a ton in the preseason and play really good or really bad. You're going to find the flip side of that. So, I think Carson is his own unique case study. And he seems super, just based off a couple media appearances this week, he seems super excited for Sunday. And you're curious about, does he need to rein that in at all? Do we see a couple? That was something with Andrew that you saw a lot. A couple air mails early in the game, and then he kind of settled into it. Do you see any of that from Carson? Because let's acknowledge what's here for Carson Wentz. A second opportunity, and there's no guarantee there's going to be a third opportunity. So he knows he's got to take advantage of this.
This is something I told you for a long time during camp. I'm really, really, really interested to see the first hit he takes. When's the last time he got hit? It's been over a year, since he took a serious hit. And, how's he going to bounce back from somebody in his face and the adversity? That's what I'm looking out for most.
Yeah, for what it's worth, Brady did play in the preseason. So, again, you're going to find people on both sides of that ledger that you could easily go to. Dak, of course, was banged up. That's why he didn't play in the preseason there. Jeremy says, Colts win week one, 31-17. Seattle coming to Midwest for a 1 p.m. game doesn't go well for them. That's kind of a very popular, betting thing. Find the West Coast team that comes and plays the 1 o'clock game. Since Russell Wilson entered the league, Brendan King?
Yes.
Seahawks win percentage in the Eastern time zone, 0.767. Best in the NFL.
Okay. How much do you take that into account?
Yeah.
Is that what you're checking before every bet?
I think it's something that you certainly check.
Yeah, no, you got to look at it.
Russell Wilson's won 12 of his last 13 games in this time zone. It's... because that is something that I think you go to. And I remember when the schedule came out, I'm like, oh, wow, you start NFC West. But yeah, both those games are 10 a.m. local time for them, 1 p.m. obviously here. So that is a trap I think we often fall into. But Seattle's been damn good away from home playing in these early time zone games. And, does it differ at all when it's week one versus, maybe week 10, week 11 when you're used to playing more on your body clocks? Out there as well.
See, I would have loved if the Raiders were week one, not only because it's probably easier than the Seahawks, but also Raiders fans at 4 o'clock in the morning, just boozing up and ready to go. I mean, that'd be pretty fun.
I'd be nervous for us.
I wouldn't feel too good about that.
With that, I think Tall brings up a great point. He goes, excited to see Carson Wentz in the red zone. Last year with Phillip Rivers, it felt like we needed to have the perfect play call to score. Hoping to see some creativity. Same goes for the 2-minute drill. I still have nightmares of the last drive of the playoff game. That last drive of the playoff game, dude, they were moving like Mike Wells on a scooter after tearing the Achilles. It was like, wait, how much time's left? What is going on? The sense of urgency was just, guys, there's no fifth quarter. You don't have 3 timeouts. You got to move a little bit here. And to the red zone point, I've been a huge advocate for this. You get into the confined areas of the field. The defense doesn't have to defend as much. We saw it last night. Some squandered opportunities for Dallas when they got into those parts of the field. It's who can win one-on-one and who can find production off the off-script stuff. Because you've got to be perfect from an X and O standpoint for it to work. And that's why I love the kind of pre-snap disguise, those sorts of things. But the off-script stuff and just the subtleties of, it's not even Carson Wentz outright running for a touchdown or something like that. It's just, can he move in the pocket? And all of a sudden, that linebacker, Bobby Wagner, might be isolated right in the middle of the field waiting for Jack Doyle down the seam. And now Wentz moves a little bit to his right, and Wagner breaks contain, and he's got to go there. Now does that open up, a throwing lane down the middle? I do think for a team that struggled in the red zone last year, while mentally you're going to miss Rivers, I do think that athletic gift of Wentz with his legs is definitely something that should help out in that area.
You know who I actually liked in the red zone last year at times? And there was one particular game. It was Houston at home. Zach Pascal. Both of Pascal's touchdowns in that Houston game came in the red zone. And there was a screen just in front of me, near corner left side end zone. Great play. Rivers, all he had to do was get it to Pascal, and he punched it in. And I don't know if Zach Pascal's being talked about now.
Yeah, he's a guy that you just kind of look at the box score after the game, and you're like, oh, wow. Zach Pascal, 4 for 64, and like touchdown or something like that. He's going to continue to play a lot. Obviously, Mike Strawn is another name to mention when we talk red zone.
Yeah.
I think he will be in that package come Sunday. I think he needs to be in that package as well.
Back corner?
Yeah, back shoulder, just something to give him.
Give me that, Frank.
Something to give him a 50-50 opportunity, because Seattle, they've had a whole lot of mess at cornerback this offseason. A ton of mess at that position. So that is something I think to watch. Flipping it over to the other side, Brendan, defending Russell Wilson. You
got a plan?
Yeah. No. With the Rhodes injury status and him up in the air, there's even more pressure on your front to disrupt timing. And we've talked about DeForest Buckner this week with that. Obviously, if you can do it from the interior of the pocket, Russell Wilson is not a tall quarterback. If you can disrupt with 6'7" in Buckner, that would be huge, of course. I also think something to keep in mind is, the Colts drafted Darius Leonard, and the very next draft, they draft Bobby Okereke. And Chris Ballard, after the Okereke pick, made it very clear that this focus at linebacker had changed. No position Ballard's overhauled more defensively than linebacker. He wanted to get longer with wingspan. He wanted to get faster from sideline to sideline at that position. A reason for that was, at the time, he's thinking to himself, look at the division. Marcus Mariota, Deshaun Watson, go a step further in the AFC, Lamar Jackson, Baker, Josh Allen. Some of these quarterbacks, obviously Patrick Mahomes, some of these quarterbacks can make plays with their legs. And the closing speed of those linebackers, he felt like was an absolute must, and kind of how the NFL's changed a little bit from statue pocket passers to a little bit more of the mobility aspect. You can throw Russell Wilson into that same category. Obviously, it's a different conference. But this game is a big reason why Chris Ballard spent those draft picks on those linebackers. Very important draft picks. Second rounder on Leonard, early second rounder, and a third rounder on Bobby Okereke. And it's always fun for me up in the press box to watch that quarterback get outside of the pocket, and you see a Leonard or even an Okereke find that line and just make that beeline for that QB. They're racing towards the marker, they're racing towards the sideline. Sometimes they're just racing to, hey, if I keep on extending towards the sideline, someone will get open eventually. That is going to be something that obviously will be a huge thing, because Wilson can scramble to run, but that dude scrambles to throw a whole lot.
This was something we discussed extensively. Of any Colt, I thought Bobby Okereke had the best camp. Every single day that dude was out there. And we talked to him, or at least he was at the fan table, day 1 of camp, day 2 of camp. And I left feeling nothing but impressed of his character, and we know how Chris Ballard feels about character. Easy to see it on his sleeve. I was really, really happy with what I saw from Bobby Okereke this year.
He found the ball a whole lot,
especially early
in camp, and obviously he's taken on more communication responsibilities, being the starter at that Mike position. And to the whole passing game standpoint, safety help over DK Metcalf all game long. Like, you're going to have to stop the run with your front seven because you need all bodies back there of Julian Blackmon. I think you can't leave Rock on islands. You cannot do that. You got to have safety help over the top to stop one of the best in the league. All right, Greg Rakestraw is going to join us here in about 10 minutes. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, at the top of the hour. Let's hit a Big O Tires Sports Center update on the Fan.
The Sports Center update on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan is presented by Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Again, Xavier Rhodes has missed the last 2 days of practice with a calf injury. I don't recall him missing much practice, if any at all, last year. So he's the big name to watch this week. Quentin Nelson back to practicing yesterday. Eric Fisher was again limited. I don't think he plays. Good news on the Paris Campbell front. He was full with that Achilles lingering issue, and then Carson Wentz full as well. So for me at this final practice of the week, BK, Xavier Rhodes, the big name.
Boy, and if you go into Sunday without him, you just said it, Rock Ya-Sin on an island against DK Metcalf with Russell Wilson throwing. That doesn't sound too fun.
No, Seattle Seahawks, all 53 guys have practiced Wednesday and Thursday here. Yeah, that's foreign here in Indianapolis.
And if it's in DK, you got Tyler Lockett, too. Don't forget about him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I know DK Estridge, their second-round pick, who a lot of people
There's
are high
another
on
DK?
as well. Maybe it's Dwayne Estridge.
I was going to say double DK.
Yeah, I got to look that up.
That's like Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong coming in and coming in to whoop you.
91 degrees on Sunday. We'll see how that impacts the roof and window. Someone tweeted at me earlier, the Colts don't have a good record when the window's open. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that.
When the window's open?
Yeah. I can't say I've looked too deep into I know we got time zone questions. I haven't looked too deep into the old window open questions.
It is roof season. Roof tweet season.
It is, yep.
I love me some roof tweets.
Yeah, we're going to get that. I'm guessing 90-ish degrees it'll be closed, but I don't know.
Do you turn your notifications on for roof tweets?
I don't. I don't put a lot of stock into the old roof window being open. Colts kickoff concert tonight, right here, or this afternoon, I should say. Gates open at 4:30 on the Circle. That is free. Come check that out. Clayton Anderson, among others, performing tonight. Free Bud Light seltzers for the first 500 fans. Should be a beautiful night. Also for high school football, a great slate in week 4. Our game, Zionsville, Franklin Central, Ben Davis Center Grove, Beech Grove, Cecina, Carmel at Pike, Columbus North at Roncalli. You got a great undefeated matchup. In the Mudsock action up in Hamilton County, it's HSC at Fisher, Chittard at Cathedral, LN at North Central, Speedway at Ritter. So we'll get Greg Rakestraw's thoughts on the high school season. Unfortunately, Edmund Sumner, bad news for him yesterday. Tore his Achilles in a workout. The young Pacers guard in a contract year. He's unfortunately had a long injury history in his career. Just flat out an absolute bummer, Brendan King, for a guy that I thought was one of the few bright spots of last season.
Stinks. Absolutely stinks. Mentioned it last hour. He gave you a shot to win in Golden State when he started. And he started a lot on that Western Road swing, probably because Nate Bjorkgren didn't have a better option when Victor Oladipo was throwing a fit. But, that just stinks. And now you need Chris Duarte to hit. You need him to work out. You needed it before. Now that the Warren thing came, and now that the Sumner thing is here, you can't afford to not hit on Chris Duarte.
Yeah, this team lacks athleticism at an elite level, and no one was a better athlete on this team than Edmund Sumner. Was giving you stuff on both ends of the floor. The jump shot improved last year as well. So, yeah, it just absolutely sucks, like you said. And, again, the whole run it back when healthy, yeah, that's not working out very well. Last night, the NFL season opened. Here is the NBC call of the game winner field goal.
Pinion to hold it. Trying to snap it. Suckup trying to win it. Got it.
They finally have a kicker in Tampa Bay. How about Tom Brady? How about Dak Prescott? This is sick.
Just Pete Collinsworth. I'm just picturing Joey Molinaro.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that Joey?
When I hear that. In all seriousness, what a game last night. Tom Brady, 32 of 50, 379, 4 touchdowns. 2-minute drill there to end the game. Pretty flawless. Chris Godwin might have got away with an offensive pass interference penalty to set up the suck-up game winner. Dak Prescott, 42 of 58, 403 and 3 touchdowns. Did everything, really, for Dallas with Ezekiel Elliott extremely quiet. Chris Godwin fumbled going in for really what would have been, I think, the icer, and I was like, all right, I got to stay up for a little bit longer now. With about, 4 minutes ago, I think it was, they go down the field. Greg the Leg finally makes a field goal. Zerline hits one right down the middle, but too much time for old Tom, and we've seen that script for, 2 decades now.
A million times. Was Al Michaels, eating his dessert during that call? It's like he was playing, because apparently Al Michaels eats a full meal.
During the game?
Yeah. There was a great... How? Collinsworth went on Part of My Take, and it was really good, but apparently Michaels eats a 3-course meal during the course of the game.
What?
Yes.
I know he's a big gambling guy, but wow, that is...
Yeah, apparently he has plates of food. It's like it'd be me and you if Mark was serving us stuff and we just plates of food between us.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
No, me neither. But
honest.
The thing about it is you grab a forkful and then you're like, right. What if you're in the middle of a bite and then...
I guess you just kind of let Collinsworth ramble, for about 10 minutes or what. Fantasy updates from last night. If you had Ezekiel Elliott or Mike Evans, sorry. If you had Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Gronk, either quarterback, you had an unbelievable night. So kind of weird how the two, quote-unquote, best skill players, very, very quiet. But the rest of the skill guys, tremendous. Baltimore Ravens, we saw just an absolute brutal day with injuries, man. It's honestly just kind of a horror film. Marcus Peters tears ACL. Gus Edwards, very next play, tears ACL in practice. They've lost, I believe it's 6 guys to season-ending injuries, starter-like players, over the past couple weeks.
You think John Harbaugh is pulling out the little Harry he has left?
I mean, seriously. It's like the 49ers last year.
Right.
Remember that? Remember how banged up they were? And, we had a caller earlier about the Colts. Should they trade Marlon Mack, Jordan Wilkins to Baltimore? I say no. I think you need the insurance policy. It sounds like Baltimore is signing Latavius Murray to their 53-man roster and signed Devontae Freeman. So their practice squad is literally Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell.
They're winning the Super Bowl in 2014.
Right? Reds back to action. I was
wondering when you were going to bring that up.
It was a quiet day.
Yeah.
On the diamond. Kirk, congrats to your Cubs on winning the series. I knew Brendan King would chirp at me for that.
Don't look now, but here come the Red Legs.
Well, the guy we're going to talk to next, I need to ask him if his die like dogs comment cursed the Reds.
Boy, I forgot about that, and we need the Padres to start dying. Luckily, they don't have a game against a team under 500 the rest of the way. They are 1 game up right now on the Reds. You've got the Phillies 3.5 back and the Cardinals 3 back for that final wild card spot. Shout out to Sean Manaea, the Indiana State product, pitched great last night, and the A's beat the White Sox 3-1.
Always like that. Always like that.
Certainly. Not a fan of the Southsiders there.
No.
All right. College football this week. 3 big state schools favored by at least 2 touchdowns. Purdue, last I saw, minus 34 over some semblance of a football program. And UConn, Notre Dame, favored by 16.5. Last I saw, that game's on Peacock. For those that are scrambling tomorrow to watch that, that is on Peacock. Indiana hosting Idaho. I've not seen a line. Luke Haggard, their offensive tackle who missed the opener, sounds like he'll be back for this game. Anything you watching college football-wise? Ball State at Penn State. Ball State a big underdog, 22.5 in Happy Valley. Not a great slate. Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa State, the 2 big games of the week.
Yeah, one thing to keep an eye out, Vanderbilt's terrible.
Oh, wow.
Terrible. They lost. You know who they lost to last week?
Aren't they always terrible?
But especially awful. You know who they lost to last week?
Yeah, directional school in Tennessee, right?
Correct. East Tennessee State.
And it wasn't close, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was not. Colorado State also stinks. They lost to South Dakota State last week, but at least South Dakota State is a capable football team. You lose to an FCS school, that's not great. South Dakota State, another thing. But Colorado State, on the money line, it's close to even money over Vanderbilt. And again, Vanderbilt's awful. They're going to Colorado to play that game at 10 o'clock. That doesn't add up too well for an SEC school.
Man, you're going deep into the college football slate to find a winner.
Give me Colorado State money line.
Wow,
that's my winner of the week for you guys.
Believe in the, what's their nickname, the Rams? Something like that?
Buffalo? No, that's Colorado. The Bison?
Yeah. I think it's
Bison.
Rams.
Is it
Bison, Colorado State?
I'm about to say the Pac-12 with
Washington State losing, right?
Yeah, Montana beats Washington. Yeesh.
Pac-12 North was terrible. last week. All right, IndyCar, 14th race of the year. We got 3 to go.
Rams.
Back-to-back. Colorado State Rams?
Yeah.
2-mile road course in Portland.
Same thing. Bison or Ram.
Qualls tomorrow, 3:30 green flag. Elio Castroneves back for the final 3 races of the year. Pato Award retook the lead from Alex Palou in points race. That will be something to watch here as we close out the IndyCar season. All right, we come back on the Fan Morning Show. Greg Rakestraw going to join us, talk a little high school football. Matt Taylor at 9 o'clock. It's Kevin Bowe and Brendan King here on the Fan.
I want them to die like dogs.
Mortgage rates drop again, creating opportunities for refinancing everywhere. How much can you save? Let's find out now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. NMLS number 1326-241.
Hey, it's JMV. The Colts are back. It's BullseyeEventGroup.com. The Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. That is your pregame party before the Colts and the Seahawks battle. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
How real do I give it? So real. How real do I give it? So real. So real that Caesars will give you some authentic NFL gear when you bet $100 in September. So download the app and get live in-game betting, parlays, Caesars rewards, and some authentic NFL gear. I'm an official sponsor of the NFL, people!
Must be 21. Offer valid in Indiana only and for new and existing users who opt into this offer. Jersey awarded as a gift card. Options may vary. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's JMV. If you're a business owner, are you feeling the pressure of running your business? There's a limit to what you can do and still keep employees engaged. Insperity brings 30-plus years of HR experience to help you with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving your employees competitive benefit options. You're able to focus on other priorities. Your employees can thrive and your business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Full-service HR, employee benefits, HR technology, Insperity. HR that makes a difference.
Hey, Indiana, with Unibet Sportsbook's Level Up Parlay Booster, you can get unlimited parlay boosts of up to 50%. Sign up today to get $500 risk-free. Build a parlay no one else in Indiana could have thought of. Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook, crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
There's Pablo in his natural habitat, opening his internet bill in fear. He just saw his 12-month promotional price ended. Uh-oh, and he just discovered the equipment fees. Back away slowly.
If your internet bill drives you wild, just remember, you're not a bad person. You just need a straightforward price. Get AT&T Fiber. Unlimited internet with no price increase at 12 months. Visit att.com/no hidden fees. Limited availability in select areas.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
You need a work schedule that fits your life, and Amazon has shifts that help you make the best use of your time. Whether you're a night owl, early bird, weekend warrior, or somewhere in between, discover the benefits of thinking outside the 9 to 5. You decide whether to seize the day or the night so you can get back to what matters most. Go to Amazon.com/shifts to learn more. That's Amazon.com/SHIFTS. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Brendan King in studio here on a Friday morning, as usual. Greg Rakestraw, Matt Taylor, our Friday guests. Let's head to the Payless Liquors hotline. Rake is there right now. ISC Sports Network. Rake, our Padres are not dying like dogs, like you promised me a few weeks back.
I didn't promise you. I encouraged that, and unfortunately, our Reds are kind of getting taken to the pound right now. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not going well, buddy.
Do you think you cursed them, Rick?
Well, I curse a lot, as you well know, just not on the air. So perhaps that's involved.
Who you got tonight, Rick?
I got Center Grove and Ben Davis. This is the last time that I have Center Grove until the postseason, again, because they play such a front-loaded schedule. They get Ben Davis tonight, a Ben Davis team that is 2-1, a Ben Davis team that I think maybe has a better chance of moving the football against Center Grove because of the way they can kind of air things out. But I just don't know if Ben Davis defensively can stop what Center Grove does offensively. Again, Center Grove's already got road victories of 24 and 27 against Warren Central and Carmel. We'll see if Ben Davis has something different for him tonight.
How close is this year's Center Grove team to last year, Rake?
Probably closer than I gave it credit for. You know, I'm sure you have heard me say, I'm sure I said a version of this with you guys at some point in time over the last few weeks, that basically I thought they were not as good as last year's team, but they were still the best team in 6A. After watching them twice in the first 3 weeks, I'm not convinced they're every bit as good as last year's team. You know, last year's team loses Carson Steele, Mr. Football, who's already scored a touchdown in his first game at Ball State. They lose Austin Booker, who's at the University of Minnesota. They lose the older of the Schott brothers off of last year's team that's now at Miami of Ohio. Younger brother James is going to join him there after this season, and yet they seemingly have not missed a beat. They do have 3 new starters in that are transfers, 2 from Brownsburg, 1 from Mount Vernon. I think that has helped kind of patch some potential holes, defensively. But frankly, this is a team that doesn't have a weakness. And honestly, I don't think Taven Jackson, who's headed to Tennessee as a quarterback, he hasn't had to do anything spectacular or special so far this year. So you could actually think their offense could be better, as the year goes along. And they have been, if not blowing teams out, they have been winning decisively in 2 of their first 3 games.
Hey, Rick, last week I called the 42-0 whitewash for Warren Central over North Central. And, Warren Central last year, a team that goes 4-6. But back in 6A, back in the talk, just how impressed have you been with their turnaround getting back into it?
Impressed, and obviously Center Grove, again, did not blow them out, but were not threatened by them in week number 1. The issue that Warren had in that game was that they just couldn't run the ball. And that's kind of what Center Grove has done to all 3 teams they have played so far. What you did see, though, really with 2 different quarterbacks because of injuries, both Prince Powell and Danny Tippett, they could move the ball in the passing game. And Joe Walker is a very talented young receiver as a junior. I thought that Warren Central would have a good team, a good season, just because they returned so many pieces offensively. Really only lost 1 skill position player off of last year's team. In Michael Clark, did lose a bit more defensively. They returned DeJuan Eccles, who was headed to play at Ball State University. The one thing I noticed about Warren is they are not overly big. And again, it's a Center Grove team that is massive along both the offensive and defensive lines. I'll see Ben Davis for the first time. They have got really good size along the offensive line. Carmel, a little bit bigger, at least on the offensive line, not very big in terms of defensive line, is Carmel this year. I probably thought Warren was the second best team in the mix and potentially the state heading into the year. I'll see Warren and Carmel play coming up in week number 8. By the eyeball test, they look very similar and watch them in weeks 1 and weeks 3. So Warren can have a very good season. I think Warren is a favorite to win a sectional. The problem for Warren is that they were running to Center Grove at the regional round, and a lot would probably have to change, which is certainly possible, from week 1 to week 13 for that game to have a bit of a different outcome.
He's Greg Rakestraw. Tonight he's got Center Grove that's hosting Ben Davis. Is that right, or is it at Ben Davis?
That is correct. Center Grove at home for their first. Again, that's what makes their first 2 road wins or conference wins impressive. They both on the road so far.
Yeah, definitely. ISC Sports Network joined us here on the Fan Morning Show. Rake, I got a lot of Chittard blood in my family. Should I be worried tonight about my Irish?
No, and I don't say that dismissively of Chittard. I was actually impressed that Chittard was as competitive with Roncalli as they were, because I think Roncalli is really good. It was 28-21 last week. I know it was 28-14 at one point in time, and Chittard kind of got the last touchdown. But that tells me a lot about Chittard. Chittard comes in at 0-3. That is very uncommon territory for the Trojans. Their schedule by no means is easy the rest of the way. But after tonight, I could see maybe Chittard losing once or twice during a regular season. I could see them running the table and winning their last 5, going into the postseason. So, It's a Chittard team that is better than their record would indicate because they have really strengthened their schedule over the course of the last few years. But no, I think Cathedral is the better team heading into tonight's game.
Thank you. It's a calming feeling. Greg Rakestraw joining us here every Friday on the Fan Morning Show. Let's shift over to Colts, Rake. I think the over-under in Vegas is right around 9 wins for the Colts. Where would you put win total, kind of ceiling and floor for this season?
Well, I have been known as a Colts homer to simply, and once I draw out the schedule, I might have them at 17-0, but that's just me. I have said of the 10, 11, maybe even 12 win variety if everything clicks. So I think 9. I'd buy the over on 9. And I saw a graphic. I think Vegas has 12 teams at 9.5 or better. The Colts were not one of them, but the Colts played 8 of those 12 teams during the course of the year. I believe what this group can do. And I know there have been question marks in terms of availability. But I think if this team, again, knock on wood, ask the folks in Baltimore this, the ultimate question you cannot answer is can your team stay healthy? If this Colts team can largely stay healthy, I think they're a double-digit win team, even against what shapes up to be a somewhat rugged schedule. So I believe in this Colts team. Simple as that.
Hey, Rick, speaking of availability, Xavier Rhodes out of practice the last couple days. If it has to be Rock Ya-Sin against DK Metcalf, what's your worry level like there?
High. TJ Carey, would also get some looks there as well. There's obviously some different things you can do from a coverage standpoint. Frankly, it puts more pressure to get to the quarterback. When you say that's Russell Wilson, that's not easy, even though he has taken a bit of a pounding seemingly over the last few years, more so than early in his career. But I like my chances with Xavier Rhodes more so than Rock Ya-Sin. But again, it could be Rock, it could be a little bit of Kenny, it could be a little bit of TJ Carey. I do think there is some depth at the cornerback position for this ball club.
He's got the best team in the state tonight, facing the old Brad Bowen, Ben Davis Giants on ISC Sports Network. He's Greg Rakestraw. Join us. And then your duties on Sunday, post-game show, correct?
Post-game show, and then for those that are in the building, since that number was never more than 12,000 at a given time last year, I also do the in-game highlights at Lucas Oil Stadium. So if you're there for the 1 o'clock game and you need to be updated on what else is going on around the league for potential wagering purposes or fantasy purposes, I'll have those highlights for you pretty much every quarter.
Someone on Twitter asked me why Indy 11 can't score and wanted me to ask you that, Rake.
If I had the answer to that question, we'd have solved that problem weeks ago.
Hey, the U.S. scored in the second half the other night. That was big.
Yes, they did. We need to see if we can find ourselves a Ricardo Pepi. And for those that don't know, that is the 18-year-old that made his U.S. men's national team debut in a World Cup qualifier and basically was a factor in not all 4 goals, but scored 1 and had an assist on another. So I would love to find somebody like that for the Indy 11 if we could. It's just been one of those years, KB, where if something can go wrong, it has. Frankly, Wednesday should have been a 1-1 draw in Tulsa, and Indy was on the wrong end of what I thought was a terrible penalty call in about minute 87, minute 88 that cost them a point, ended up being a 2-1 loss. So it's been one of them years, man, where if something can go wrong, it has for that team.
Well, Rick, hopefully things change there and change on our Reds-Padres front here over the final few weeks, and I will see you in the press box on Sunday.
You got it, buddy. Thank you.
It's a great Greg Rakestraw right there on the Payless Liquors hotline. We come back, Brendan King, Kevin Bowen. Let's give some season predictions here for the Colts in 2021. Matt Taylor going to join us at the top of the hour as well. You're listening to the Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Jimmy Cook here for PicksWise, the #1 home of free sports betting picks. Visit PicksWise.com today and make your next bet better. Never visited PicksWise.com before? Well, you need to. Why? Because they are indeed free. You'll see countless sites that tout selling you a month of picks and then offering you an extra free month if their plays fail to make a profit. If you're tired of losing money and paying for picks, then bookmark PicksWise.com and enjoy our daily free picks. The PicksWise team of trend-watching, data-devouring sports fanatics will help you wade through the minutia and give you the who, how, and why behind the what for every prediction they make, all for free. Go to PicksWise.com and see for yourself why they are the number one home of free sports betting picks, props, and parlays. And while you're at it, download the free PicksWise app now to make your next bet better. PicksWise backs responsible gambling. If you or someone you know wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Robert, are you going to a game on Friday?
Yep, I've already got my ticket, Carrie, which we both know as Indiana High School Athletic Association Assistant Commissioners is much more than a ticket.
It's so much more. When you go to a high school sporting event, you're making a contribution to your community.
That's right. The proceeds from ticket sales go right back to your school's athletic department to help pay for things like facility maintenance and officiating crews.
And just by being there, you're encouraging the student athletes in your community to achieve their goals.
They need that encouragement. They need high school sports in their lives.
They really do, because they teach important life lessons like how to be part of a team.
And it's the team that provides a sense of community.
Which is why it's so important for the whole community to come together to support their high school student athletes.
So join us and buy a ticket to the game.
You'll be supporting your entire community.
This is your team. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg. You may have heard there aren't any good deals on cars right now. Here's a secret. There are if you know where to look.
Why are you whispering, Rob? We've got great deals right now.
Brian, I'm letting everyone in on the secret.
Yeah, for the first time ever, Ford certified pre-owned cars are priced up to $4,000 below Kelley Blue Book.
Brian, shh! We've got great deals on new cars, too.
New Escapes are $3,500 off, and new EcoSports are $5,750 off. See? We have great deals.
Brian, shh! These deals won't last, so we gotta keep them quiet.
Oh, right. It's a secret.
Most dealerships scream prices that aren't really deals. At Bill Estes Ford, if you listen closely,
you'll find out. Save $3,500 on new Escapes and $5,750 on new EcoSports.
And $4,000 below Kelley Blue Book value on certified pre-owned. Darn it, Brian, you made me yell now.
Well, Rob, you shouldn't keep secrets.
Listen closely for the real deal. $3,500 off Escapes, $5,750 off EcoSports. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
A new season, a new QB, a new look. Football is back. And so are Bud Light Blue Fridays. Every week, join JMV beginning at 3 for Cold Bud Lights, Colts football talk, and your chance to win tickets to Colts games.
Join me, JMV, today at the Mucky Duck off Southport Road for your chance to Seahawks tickets.
JMV, Bud Light, and you. Doing it for the shoe.
I'll see you later on today at the Mucky Duck.
Denny Smith here from my friends at Sundown Gardens. September's here, and that means fall fun at Sundown Gardens. Mums are everywhere, and they're stocked with lots of new trees and shrubs. Fall's a great time for planting. See Miss Mary's gift shop for your favorite fall decor, and the pumpkin patch is coming soon. Don't forget the fall open house is Saturday, September 18th. They'll have door prizes and giveaways, and the WIBC Saturday Home and Garden Show will be there live. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road. Visit today or sundown.gardens.com.
BetRivers Sportsbook is ready to make this football season one to remember. All season long, you can score at BetRivers Sportsbook with free bets, odds boosts, and more. With player props, thousands of game lines, and live in-game betting, BetRivers Sportsbook delivers a best-in-class sports betting experience and has an experienced customer service team to back it up. Visit BetRivers Sportsbook today and bet this football season with a local trusted team that puts you first. Go to BetRivers.com and be a winner. Partner of French Lick Casino Resort. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448. Playable only in Indiana.
Pitt travels to Tennessee and college football action tomorrow morning at 11:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You know it's all about
You're listening to The Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Welcome back to The Fan Morning Show. It's a packed Friday, as usual, here on The Fan. Obviously, Brendan King and I, the rest of the way. And then Dan from noon to 3. JMV going to be down at Mucky Duck on the south side. I love that venue, by the way. It's
what's it called?
The Mucky Duck.
Pretty cool place.
It's a great place. Awesome place. Bud Light Blue Fridays back, JMV, courtesy of Bud Light. Welcoming fans back to the game. They're giving out 50 beers and 50 Colts tickets.
Wow.
To Sunday's game against the Seahawks. So JMV will be there from 3 to, 7, because Colts Happy Hour is at 6 o'clock, and then Zionsville, Franklin Central at 7 on our airwaves, and Indiana Sports Talk at 9:30. Let's give our season predictions here. Brendan King for the Colts. Again, the over-under we mentioned is 9. Brian tweeted at me earlier in the week, with the Colts fresh off an undefeated preseason, what are your expectations going into the season? Have they grown after watching the preseason? I say no. I mean, you didn't see any sort of starting run. Is the depth decent? Yeah, but unfortunately the competition, I probably am entering this season with just as much uncertainty as I did last year. I watched all of training camp last year, and you didn't play any preseason games, so there's a bit of an unknown, but curious where you lie on the win-loss record, Brendan King, here for the Colts. So
I think I came to the same record conclusion that you had at Beers with Bowen, but I think some of our losses differ.
Okay.
So did you take 11-5?
11-6.
11-6.
Yeah, we got the extra game this year.
Yep. 11-6.
Is that where you went?
Yep.
Did you teeter closer to 10, closer to 12?
Here's the game I had the hardest time with. I had the hardest time with the Christmas Day game against the Cardinals. I went really back and forth.
I went lost there.
I went W. Actually, so I think this is where we differ the most. I think the Colts are going to lose back-to-back games twice. I think they lose against the Rams. I think they lose at Tennessee. And I think they lose at Buffalo, and then I think Tom Brady comes in here and wins.
Well, a peek ahead to your Seahawks pick. I assume that means you're picking a winner on Sunday.
I am taking a Week 1 win.
Okay, interesting. So we're flipped there.
Yeah,
I've got the Rams, and again, we'll give our score prediction a little bit later for Sunday. And I've got them beating the Bucs coming off that Thanksgiving Sunday. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers play on Monday night that week prior. So I think short week. Colts bounce back game after losing in Western New York the week before to Buffalo. So I do really worry about this early stretch and just the psyche of your team coming out of that early stretch. I believe I have them at 4-4 at one point this season. So that would mean winning 7 of their last 9. Now the schedule is much, much easier down the stretch. But man, I mean, if you're favored at all in these first 5 weeks, you're not going to be favored by more than a field goal in any of these games. And, obviously you think Fisher's going to play earlier than you previously thought. But, T.Y. is going to be on the mend. We'll see where Carson's at, just effectiveness-wise. But how you respond to this early stretch, I think is going to be, huge.
Massive. And, KB, I think where we differ is Matthew Stafford with a Sean McVay offense and then Aaron Donald coming at you for 4 quarters. That spooks me a little bit more than Seattle does. Even with the potential Xavier Rhodes missing the game. I just think Aaron Donald is that much more of a game wrecker and changes the game to a more distinct way, even if you have Quentin Nelson going against him.
Yeah, I think both games in their own right are going to be difficult. Curious, kind of X factor. What do you feel like? We talked earlier in the week, Wells and I, about how the strength of this team is a run game, and I think the strength defensively is a run defense. The X factors for me are just how proven is the pass rush, and can it get to a level where it makes up for, I think, some cornerback issues, and then obviously the elephant in the room is Wentz. What are kind of your swings with this season?
I can't wait to see Quitty Pay against Dwayne Brown, who just got a brand new deal. And, Dwayne Brown had not been practicing, KB. He was participating in team meetings. He was in walkthroughs. He was not on the practice field until earlier last week when he got his restructured final year of his deal. So Quitty Pay gets his first real big exam. Going to ask Matt Taylor about that. But I think what we talked about earlier, Kev, red zone effectiveness. And hell, if you give Mike Strawn a look and Carson Wentz just loops up a little fade, back corner, who's competing with Mike Strawn? We saw Mike Strawn embarrass J.C. Horn at times in those Carolina joint practices. If Mike Strawn gets a look on a little fade route, I don't see a way he's not catching that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it last night, and the spread going into last night was 8.5. Dallas being the underdog there. When the spread's 2.5 or 3, literally you can probably just circle the red zone efficiency as the deciding factor of, do you convert or do you not? And clearly Seattle has a weapon in their quarterback and has, a couple of wideouts that can make some big plays as well. So the Colts are going to have to match them, and brought this up earlier, but in a close game, Seattle Seahawks kicker Jason Myers did not miss last year. He's made 33 straight field goals. He had a 61-yarder last year. Now, I don't know if there's some juju in old Lucas Oil, but when he kicked with Jacksonville, I think maybe the Jets.
I thought you said you don't like Juju.
I know. I don't believe in it, but who knows? You never know with kickers. They're everyone's favorite position. He's missed 4 kicks inside of that building. And Hot Rod, more of his misses last year came inside of Lucas Oil versus outside, which is kind of interesting. But, of course, he had a great camp and a great preseason. So, the whole Xavier Rhodes injury just really, really concerns me about Sunday.
See, I also told you some bad juju is on the way for Lamar Jackson when he said the league has not figured him out yet. Either coming to him or coming to his teammates.
I was going to say, it hasn't come to him directly, but it's definitely come to him indirectly.
The witch cauldron is spinning for Lamar Jackson.
I think I saw the Colts at even money to make the playoffs. Does that sound right, Mark? Have you seen that? Minus 110? I mean, are we hammering that? Is that you feel pretty good about it?
I feel pretty good about it, I think. Don't you?
Peter King, I have them making the playoffs. I have them making the playoffs as a wild card. I have Tennessee winning the division. Same. Peter King literally was like, the COVID situation is going to hurt this team, therefore they're not going to make the playoffs.
Really?
I haven't heard people say like outright, this is not a good enough football team to make the playoffs. It seems like when people are worried or hesitant, it comes down to like Wentz's availability, not just vaccination-wise, his career as well.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because obviously the COVID situation is real for the Colts. But I'm not going to project that they're going to be losing games because of it. At this point, I just have to go off of they're going to be as healthy as they can be heading into this 17 games here.
Who you got winning the South, Brendan?
I got the Colts.
Oh, wow.
I think they're going to win. I do.
So you don't like Tennessee this season? I love me some Derrick Henry. Something about them just does not fully add up. And I don't know what it is just yet. And I don't know if I'll know for a little while. But, man, you got to win a division this year, KB. You got to win a division. If you don't win a division, then you're going into another offseason, maybe with a first-round exit, and you're looking at the same questions of last year. Is Carson the guy? Is Frank the guy? Is Ballard the guy? Because, again, I think this is Frank's last shot. Frank's last shot of developing. He's got his guy. And you got to go win with him. Yeah, you might not get another quarterback opportunity.
No.
I think is where you're kind of getting at with that of like, you've committed to Carson, you've stuck your neck out, you've said that. And if it doesn't work out, then, probably the franchise is going in a different direction. And I said it in my season predictions of you just got to sweep Houston and Jacksonville. Like, if you want a shot at winning the division, you got to sweep those two. And you're going to face Tennessee twice in the first 2 months out of the year, and then you're going to see the rest of the teams in the AFC South. And this team has laid too many divisional eggs over the last handful of years. You just got to get those games and move on, because those are the easiest games on the schedule, outside of maybe the Jets on a Thursday night. We'll get to our Seahawks exact pick a little bit later as well. We come back on the Fan Morning Show. It's Kevin Bowen. It's Brendan King. Matt Taylor, the birthday boy.
Oh,
Matt
boy.
Taylor, voice of the Colts, joining us next here on the Fan.
Zionsville hits the road for a conference showdown against Franklin Central. Will the Eagles soar? Or will the Flashes even their record at 2-2? It's a Hoosier Crossroads Conference matchup under the Friday Night Lights. Catch all the action of Friday Night Football tonight. Kickoff at 7 o'clock on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
The most important financial decision you'll make isn't picking the next hot stock or fund manager. It's choosing the right financial advisor. How do you pick the advisor that's right for you? Find out in a special encore presentation of our virtual event with Rick Edelman on Tuesday, September 14th at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. It's free. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. You'll get advice on how to select the right financial advisor, and you'll get a list of the 11 questions to ask before hiring one. Take this list with you when you interview financial advisors, and if you already have one, use the checklist to evaluate if they are right for you. You will get all the information you need, and Rick will make it fun and entertaining. It's free, so register right now for a special encore presentation of our virtual event on September 14th at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. That's EdelmanFinancialEngines.com.
All right, the NFL is back, and FanDuel Sportsbook is celebrating with 40-1 odds on any Week 1 game. Who doesn't want to win $200 on a $5 bet? This isn't a Hail Mary. It's that simple. New customers get 40-1 odds when you place your first wager. FanDuel sports betting made simple. The app is simple and easy to use, and when you win, you get paid in as little as 24 hours. I'm looking right now at the Colts on the money line at plus 130. If that's where you're leaning, be sure to use your risk-free bet there. Also, I've got a parlay for you. Bills Steelers. It's 4 legs. Najee Harris, anytime touchdown scorer. Chase Claypool, over 49.5 receiving yards. Over 13.5 total points in the fourth quarter. And over 48.5 points in the whole game. $10 bet pays you over $80. Offers like this are why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. The app is safe and secure and easy to use. And like I said, lightning fast payouts in as little as 24 hours. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. They're always hooking you up with exclusive odds boosts, great promotions, and so much more. Just sign up with promo code MARK, and you can win $200 on just a $5 bet. That's promo code MARK, M-A-R-C. 21 and over in present Indiana. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $200. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX. Indianapolis.
Hey, join me today. I'm going to give you what I think is going to be the Colts record, my final tally, and we're going to break down Colts-Seahawks. Let's do it. It's Colts weekend, baby.
It's the Fan Morning Show.
Speaking of rivals, my good friend Tom Brady is here tonight. By the time he is inducted,
with Kevin Bowen. Oh, baby! On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Let's go. Final hour of the week on the Fan Morning Show. Brendan King, Kevin Bowen. It is Football Friday. Big time here in the Circle City. We got the kickoff concert going on down below us on the Circle, starting at 4:30. So it's free. Go to Colts.com/concert to download tickets there. JMV, we mentioned earlier, he'll be at the Mucky Duck, awesome place on the south side. Bud Light giving away free 50 tickets to the game on Sunday against the Seahawks, and 50 Bud Lights as well. So if you're looking to sneak out of work early, head down to the old Duck.
Speaking of Bud Light, the 107.5 The Fan tailgate, Georgia Street, Sunday, $3 Bud Lights, food trucks, Georgia Street, right before the game. Come hang out, live music. I'll be there hanging with you. Should be fun.
I can't wait for that. And it looks like great weather. A little warm, but
Butler homecoming weekend.
Yeah.
Colts home opener. Beautiful. I'm in.
So last Saturday, I almost texted you. My wife, Rosie, and I were walking on Butler's campus. It was about 8:30, 9 a.m. in the morning, so that's probably why I didn't text you. I'm going to guess if I do that on Saturday morning, I'm probably going to see a few things. Rosie's going to see a few things that she probably hasn't seen before.
It depends on where you go with Rosie. I mean, if you stick to the Hinkle lot, you'll see the upper echelon of alumni. And if you go to Greek Row, there might be some different activities.
PG-13 and
and that's when I leave the house and I go to my friend group and I let the guys do their thing.
Well, speaking of someone that's maybe experienced that, and you might have a Bud Light or two, Matt Taylor.
Yeah,
we got a little birthday for you.
Well, it's either this or the Beatles, and you went with this. Come on, man. What are we doing?
Oh, you're going to complain
about a happy birthday?
Do you know how much the Beatles cost to play on air?
Great point. No, I love you guys. I appreciate you, man. You guys are making me misty-eyed down here on the south side this morning. What's going on?
It was either that or we're going to have Coach Venturi jump out of a cake for you in the press box on Sunday.
Give me a Rick Venturi coconut brawl out of the cake any day, right? That is a delicious birthday. Let's go. That's awesome.
You know what? Jim Irsay wants a season opening victory. Matt Taylor wants coconut brawl. Rick Venturi. We all got wants and desires here on this football weekend.
The heart wants what the heart wants. You cannot deny it.
I might make you blush a little bit more here, Mayte. If you don't mind sharing your age, and are you the youngest play-by-play voice in the NFL? I feel like you got to be.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what people say. I've never, researched that. It really doesn't matter that much. But yeah, the big 3-6 today. The big 3-6. I'm getting a little crusty around the edges here a little bit.
Shout out.
That's the humble answer right there.
That is peak Matt Taylor right there. All right, voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor. Enough of the, whatever, kissing and hugs we're doing virtually here on a Friday morning. I'll leave it pretty open-ended to you. Keys to the game. This is a juicy matchup. I think it's one of the best in the NFL right now. I'm seeing Seattle 2.5, 3-point favorites. What are you keeping your eye on?
Well, I think you start first when Seattle has the football. You got to keep Russell Wilson contained. You got to keep him inside the box. He's one of the greatest scramblers of all time, and he's not necessarily scrambling all the time to get upfield with the rush, but just trying to extend plays in the backfield to throw the ball on, backyard football. I think somebody said today, or this week rather, that he's averaging over 8 yards per scramble in his career. I mean, that's a significant amount of chunk plays that you can change down in distance upcoming with a guy like that can make those types of plays. And so the pass rush has to be disciplined. They got to do their job. Guys like Rock Yassin have to set the edge on the run too. And, I think when plays break down, speaking of Rock Yassin, it's a really difficult matchup if he has to start on Sunday due to the injury to Xavier Rhodes with his calf. There's no question that he's going to be challenged with stopping one of the biggest bodied receivers in the NFL that has blazing speed in DK Metcalf. Metcalf, as you guys know, over 1,000 yards last year, over 10 touchdowns, but it's the big plays, averaging over 15 yards per catch last season. But he leads the NFL in 25-yard receptions since 2019, right? So he can change the game in a hurry, and it's not a matter of if. It's going to happen. It's when, the Seattle Seahawks go 3 wide receivers on the field, and they put Metcalf down by himself in the boundary, and it's going to be a one-on-one competition between he and Rock Yassin. Rock has to win a couple of those battles to thwart some big plays and to get Seattle off the field. So that's on that side of the ball. Then offensively for the Colts, obviously the big storyline is Carson Wentz and sort of, getting his emotions in check, because there's obviously going to be a lot of stuff going through his mind, not only just with the excitement of making his Colts debut. He's never played a game before in Lucas Oil Stadium. That'll be new for him. And just his eagerness to start his second chapter of his NFL career with the Colts, but then trying to ride that balance of pushing the ball down the field, being aggressive, and trying to make plays and get those chunk plays, but at the same time valuing possessions and taking care of the football and not making silly mistakes that can really cost you in the end. So those are the things I'm going to be watching for coming up on Sunday. And also, what kind of defense does Seattle have? Because they were such a tough defense to sort of put your thumb on from last season, in that in the first 8 games last year, they were one of the worst defenses in the history of the NFL through a half a season, giving up 350 passing yards per game and over 30 points per game in that stretch. But then all of a sudden they just flipped the switch, and in the last 8 games, they gave up only 16 points per game, which was number 1 in the NFL. So what's it going to be coming up on Sunday? How can the Colts attack them on that side of the football? And, obviously stay away from Adams and Wagner. Those are the 2 big impactful players on that side of the ball for Seattle. But I'm with you, KB. This is a marquee matchup right out of the gate, 12-4 versus 11-5 from last season. It doesn't get much better than this right out of the chute. And plus, you got fans back in the stands at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Mayte, KB and I were talking about this earlier. This is going to be wildly different, obviously, for Carson Wentz than Scott Milanovic running after him with padded sticks. But when you look at what he needs to do on Sunday in his specific performances, what are you going to be looking for most that tells you he's comfortable?
Well, I just think he's going to take what the defense is giving him, and be accurate with the football. And the biggest thing is keep the Colts on schedule on down and distance. The Colts were one of those teams last year that got their chunk plays, but a lot of it was yards after catch. So, keep yourself on schedule down and distance, but then also when there's a chunk play to be had, when you do take a shot down the field, you got to complete those balls. And without T.Y. Hilton, who's that going to be? Is it going to be Paris Campbell, or is it going to be Zach Pascal in the slot? So that to me is going to tell me right out of the gate if Carson Wentz is comfortable. He's going to have to obviously have really good footwork. He's going to have really good posture inside the pocket. And that was talked about this week on the Colts really kind of focused on those two things. When they acquired him in that trade with Philadelphia this offseason, has been about those two things mechanically, getting rid of the football quickly in terms of the mechanics on the release, but then just, not having to force things. I think at times last year in Philadelphia, he was guilty of, touching the football 60 to 65 times per game. And when you have a depleted supporting cast around you and the season, from a record standpoint in Philadelphia is going downhill a little bit, maybe it felt like he had to make a play every time he touched the ball. Simply, he's not going to have to do that this year. Certainly not in week one with a lot of healthy players around him and Jonathan Taylor and Pittman and Mack and Campbell and, a lot of other guys, the tight ends with Doyle and Granson. So I think it's really exciting to see what he can do and sort of be the orchestrator of the offense and just simply make the plays that are there to be made, not do too much. But then when opportunities arise, you got to capitalize. But Wentz is one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL, as we've known him to be since 2016.
He called himself crusty at the age of 36. Matt Taylor on his birthday.
I said crusty around the edges.
Crusty around the edges. Thank you.
Difference.
Thank you for clarifying that. Voice of the Colts joining us here on the Payless Liquors hotline. Mate, when I look at the Seahawks, we've talked about cornerback questions here in Indianapolis, and especially with the Xavier Rhodes injury this week. They're talking about cornerback much, much more than we are. I mean, that seems to be the position that they're most concerned about entering Sunday. Where is that balance for Frank Reich of wanting to rely on the strength of Jonathan Taylor and, an O-line pretty much intact versus, man, you look at Seattle defensively, they're pretty good against the run last year, but their cornerback group and their pass defense, that seems to be where you want to attack them.
And like I said, they were just such a weird team last year, giving up. I mean, they were 31st for the season in pass defense, and I think they're pretty solid at safety, but you're right. If you look at their secondary, obviously their weakness is on the outside with their corners, and it's going to be Trey Flowers and DJ Reed, and neither guy is going to be confused with perennial Pro Bowlers. So they can be had on the outside. So I think that's one of the big storylines going into the game. Again, is balance offensively for the Colts, and Indianapolis is one of those teams under Frank Reich since he's been here that's. They're not going to deviate from the run game. They're not going to throw the ball just because they haven't thrown the ball in the last couple of series or in the last couple of plays. They're going to establish the run first. And if you can pound them all day long up front by giving the football to Jonathan Taylor 25 times, then by God, that's what they're going to do. And they're not going to worry about it. And they're not going to lose sleep over, Michael Pittman not getting 4 catches for 60 yards or whatever with the guys on the outside. So I think the game's going to come to the Colts. Inevitably, though, they're going to have to make plays on the outside, and that's where I think they can take advantage of the matchups because again, Reed and their nickel corner, Marcus Blair. I mean, these are good football players, but they're not going to be in the conversation of all pros. So I like the one-on-one matchups outside between the Colts wide receivers, tight ends against some of their nickel package cornerbacks with Reed, Flowers, and Blair.
Matt Taylor talking Colts football on the Payless Liquors hotline. Matt, I feel like Quitty Pay through training camp in the preseason has had a lot of quizzes in terms of left tackles he's been going up against, but now you really get an exam with Dwayne Brown, 4-time Pro Bowl left tackle. What are you looking for out of Quitty?
I just want to see him impact the game. In the box score at the end of the game on Monday when you scour the numbers, he may not have, 2 or 3 sacks, but I want to see impactful plays. I want to see disruption in the backfield. I want to see him, stuffing the run. And you're right. It is a great matchup. I mean, you're talking about Dwayne Brown. I don't have the number in front of me, but I think it's 180-plus career starts going up against one for Quitty Pay, right? So you're talking about a guy that's long in the tooth at age 36 that just completed a hold-in, if you will, got a new contract, or they restructured this season's contract for him, and then a guy who's trying to make his mark in the National Football League for the Colts. And I think that goes across the board for all of the Colts pass rushers, right? I mean, they don't necessarily have to have 4 or 5 sacks per game, but they need backfield impactful plays. They need to disrupt the timing of throws or make quarterbacks like Russell Wilson stay in the pocket and step up into the pocket and then get devoured by guys like Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner. So those are the things I'm going to be able to watch or looking forward to watch on Sunday. Again, it's not necessarily how many sacks or quarterback hits did he have, but if you review the tape on Monday or Tuesday, it's, wow, Quitty Pay really did a nice job of being physical on the edge and forcing some negative things to happen so that his other teammates could be the benefactors of it.
You'll hear him Sunday at 1, Matt Taylor, and then Rick Venturi and Lara Overton on the call. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. Mate, anything new, like coverage-wise? I just assume you're back. I forget last year if you were even in the radio booth. I don't know if that was a coach booth because of COVID or what, but anything new for you guys in terms of home broadcast?
We're back in the stadium. We were in the stadium last year. The biggest thing is that we no longer have to have the plexiglass dividers. So good news for me, because I feel like last year I called a game in a phone booth or a telemarketer's cubicle. So that's good. I can actually spread out a little bit and feel like I'm not like in a coffin. So that'll be positive just from a psychological standpoint for me.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like you were in a confined phone booth within your radio booth.
Yeah, they had the plexiglass dividers between the three of us, myself, Rick, and the stat guy. So we each had our own little partition, which made it a little bit claustrophobic. I had to get creative a little bit on how to set stuff up and look at notes and things of that nature. But that's all gone this year, which is great. But then, we're still working out what's going on with the travel protocols. It's not looking great as far as the NFL. They pretty much laid the hammer on number of people that can fly with the team because of COVID and all of that. So don't want to bore your listeners with all that, but we're still trying to figure out how to get to games maybe on our own and fly efficiently with the gear and all that stuff. So logistically speaking, it's still a work in progress.
I was listening to you with Dan earlier in the week, and my excitement for this season is through the roof. And I'm intrigued by the Colts, obviously the Carson Wentz thing, all of that. Part of it's probably a little selfish, this new role that I'm in here on the Fan Morning Show as well. But I just think everything that we've been through as, obviously society and sports fans over the last year and a half, I just feel like a ton of excitement from all fans, whether it was college football last week or leading into Sunday. I mean, I can't wait for things to get started.
No, I mean, the preseason game was like a little appetizer, right? It was like a little buffalo wing before the pizza came. That's how it was, right? I mean, it was so loud.
A little pig in the blanket.
Game. Right, yeah, there you go, like a little mozzarella stick or something, right? So, or how about a little potato skin, right? If we want to run the full gamut of awful, bad for you, unhealthy appetizers. But, I mean, the people were crazy. They were nuts. The crowd was great. And so with that in mind, who knows what it's going to translate to on Sunday. I think it's going to surpass all of our expectations, to be honest with you, because people around here, man, they love their Colts and they're starved for football. And a lot of people are excited to get back into that environment with 65,000 like-minded people cheering for the same common goal. And from a broadcast standpoint, I'm just so excited to have that back. It's not that I had to manufacture energy or passion into the broadcast last year, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be a lot easier this year with that soundtrack in the background, providing all of the energy and kind of matching the intensity of like a 4-minute drill late in the game in the fourth quarter in crunch time when you're up or down on the scoreboard by 3 points. It's going to be fun to, use your voice as an instrument and really bring home the excitement on radio for these broadcasts. I can't wait too. I mean, Colts were 6-2 at home last year. We know how important winning home football games is every year, but especially this year, Kevin, with the crowded AFC and, trying to win the division for the first time since 2014, you got to take care of business at home, and you got some marquee games at home this year with Tampa Bay, the Rams, and obviously on Sunday with Seattle.
Yeah, this is not the cakewalk that last year's schedule was. That is for sure. He is Matt Taylor. He's turning 36 years old today. I'm not sure if we will get Rick Venturi and the Coconut Bra to jump out of the cake. You might get Jim Irsay to jump out of a cake Sunday if this football team wins an opener, though.
Well, he did not text me at 3 a.m. last night, so I must not be that important.
Yeah.
Certainly not.
You weren't on the Darius Leonard level.
Yeah, no, and rightfully so, right? So I'm not the middle linebacker trying to slow down Chris Carson or some of these backs out of the backfield. So I'm just there to kind of narrate the game, do my job, as Edgerrin James said, and I just can't wait. And I think, listen, Jim Irsay's right. We've had 9 months. This is what happens. You have 9 months, the long NFL offseason, as always. And when you go 0-1 and you lose that first game of the season, it's overreaction Monday, which turns into overreaction week 1 between week 2. And I think Jim Irsay's tired of it, and rightfully so, because you want to get off to a good start and prove to the rest of the NFL that the Colts are legit and they can beat some really good teams, and not taking anything away from what they accomplished last year, because winning 11 games in the NFL, that's really hard to do, Kevin, as you know. But 9 of the 11 wins last year for the Colts were against teams that finished the year under 500. So everybody knows what's at stake. They know what the next step is, and that's beating good football teams, winning the division, having a home playoff game. Every game matters, i.e. last year in the home opener, or the season opener, rather, in Jacksonville. It boils down to, had the Colts won that football game, they win the AFC South, not Tennessee. They host a home playoff game, and they don't have to go to Buffalo.
Mate, happy birthday, and have an absolute blast on Sunday, as I know you will.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Happy birthday, Mate.
And proud.
Right there. Jumping out of the cake right there. Jim Irsay. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts on the Payless Liquors hotline. Let's hit a Big O Tire Sports Center update.
The Sports Center update on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan is presented by Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Speaking of Jim Irsay, he did dial up a text to his star linebacker approaching 2 a.m. earlier.
You up text?
Earlier this week. It was not, thankfully, it was not a you up text. Maybe Butler homecoming, maybe. But thankfully not there. But for Jim Irsay, I would say this man is fired up for a Sunday afternoon.
It's nothing new, when anytime it's a big game or something, he's the owner, you want to make sure that you understand, the importance of it. So, it's not his first time, texting me or texting any player on the team. So, things like that you look for, and they just give you that little extra motivation. You go out, you say, okay, all right, it's already a chip on your shoulder, but when you got the owner, hitting you up, you got to make sure that you understand that how important this game is.
It's big. It's big to the owner for sure. Xavier Rhodes, Kamoko Toure, the two Colts who did not practice yesterday. Rhodes has now missed both practices this week. On the limited front, it was Quentin Nelson back to practice, Eric Fisher limited again, Danny Pinter, and then the full go guys yesterday, Carson Wentz and Paris Campbell. Obviously, Brendan King, you look at that list and you think of pass defense. Xavier Rhodes and Kamoko Toure, he limited Wednesday, didn't practice Thursday. He's a big part of what you want to do on third down.
Huge. And
he's opposite Quitty Pay, in my opinion, on third down.
Yeah. And, 2 during training camp. Didn't get the best look at Kamoko.
Right. Banged up as well.
Every time you think you have a W from an injury perspective, something just comes in the back door and kills you. Just swipes you. Tyson left hook, uppercut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Colts and Pacers.
Yeah. The entire city of Indianapolis. It's sports. It's nuts.
We'll get official word on Rhodes here in about, 3 hours or so when the Colts have their final practice of the week and we hear from Frank Reich. But obviously his loss would be immense considering the competition. 91 degrees on Sunday. Then maybe that means the roof closed. Someone said you got to close the window because, the record's not good when the window's open or whatnot. So,
and then you add that to Russell Wilson in the Eastern Time Zone, and you add Carson Wentz playing his first game at Lucas Oil. It's like the what's the Always Sunny in Philadelphia pointing to the screen?
Yes, right. Yeah, my head's gonna explode there. I think of the Alan gif from The Hangover as well, just all the numbers and whatnot. Let's go to last night. And speaking of radio calls, here was the Tampa Bay radio network with the game-winning Ryan Suckup field goal from last night.
29-28 Cowboys. 7 seconds left. Good snap, the spot. Here's the kick by Suckup. Is it good? It is good! Bucs take the lead at 31-29 with 2 seconds left. How about them Buccaneers defending the Super Bowl championship and taking the lead with just 2 seconds left in the game?
I do love hearing. Cowboys cover. Cowboys did cover. I do love hearing the call, even though a lot of people probably were hoping that kick would not go through the uprights here locally. What a game. Unbelievable game. Dak Prescott over 400 yards. Tom Brady over 300. Quiet nights for Ezekiel Elliott and Mike Evans. The Bucs had a chance to really ice it. Chris Godwin fumbles as he's going in, really for the game-clinching score with about 5 minutes to go. Dak leads Dallas down the field. Greg Zuerlein makes a kick right down the middle. And Tom Brady with minute 20, minute 30 to go. Pretty surgical with, I think, a little help from the officials as well to get into field goal range.
I don't think he called that. I like the no call.
I think it's close. I was nervous. I forget who the DB was. Are you in your back pedal? Is your momentum taking you out of it?
He flopped a little with that neck.
I just felt like when Godwin started to extend the arm, that's when the separation became bigger. And again, maybe that's his momentum at that point or whatnot. It's a tough call to make. I'm not going to sit here and act like it was easy by any means. And maybe it's a little Brady bias coming out. But
well, I think if it's Brady, people are saying, "Oh, you got to call that late." But if it's not Brady, it's somebody that everybody roots for. It's like, "Oh, great, no call. Let him play. Let him play."
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Brady adds something to that. But if you watch it in slow-mo, I think Godwin does extend that left arm, but then there's very late. There's kind of a neck turn that just has nothing to do with him being flailed back. So,
it was I don't know about you, Brendan King, but man, it was impressive to watch Brady though. I mean, his ball placement, his timing. There was a ball he threw to Gronk down the seam. It went by Micah Parsons' ear. And then just a couple balls to Antonio Brown deep as well. I mean, I know we shouldn't be in amazement, but it's incredible seeing what he's doing at that age.
If Matt Taylor's Krusty the Clown at 36, what's Tom Brady at 45?
Yeah, I don't know what Giselle calls him, but
and he's got endorsements out the butt.
Oh my
Did you
gosh.
see how many commercials he was
Subway,
in?
yeah,
and Giselle was in.
Yeah, the NFT one or whatever.
Yeah.
Now he's doing a million of them.
Stuff.
I don't know what NFTs are, and people explain. I ask people to explain it to me once a week. I still don't get it.
Well, it's not happening on these airwaves because it would take me probably 3 hours to try and even sniff explain.
Between that and Bitcoin, I don't understand.
Yeah, let's save that for a June or July conversation. Speaking of the injuries, no one's got it worse right now than the Baltimore Ravens. Yesterday in practice, Marcus Peters, their Pro Bowl corner, tears ACL. Gus Edwards, their starting running back, who someone in this room has drafted very high in fantasy, tears his ACL as well. Sounds like they just signed Latavius Murray, made that official. Devontae Freeman, Le'Veon Bell in their practice squad. Baltimore's kind of built that you feel like they can get it done at running back no matter who. But, man, these injuries before the season's even started for a team that, I think there are people out there that thought they could be one of the last couple standing in the AFC.
They just won the 2016 Super Bowl.
Yeah. Schefter tweeted out, Ravens now have 4 players who have rushed for over 1,000 yards in the season. Latavius Murray, Devontae Freeman, Le'Veon Bell, and Lamar Jackson.
That doesn't happen very often.
Outside of Lamar Jackson, I don't think either of those other 3 are sniffing 1,000 yards.
Murray had a decent season last year for the Saints. He's a name to watch. And really the threat with Baltimore starts with Jackson, so these running backs kind of benefit from not being the number one option, but just absolutely crushing for Baltimore. The Colts will see them in week 4? 5? Yeah, that's the end of the gauntlet, right?
Justin Houston revenge game.
Monday Night Football, T.Y. Hilton, that was the other finalist. We'll see if he's back for that game and his free agency pursuits. Week 4 high school football, Zionsville, Franklin Central on our airways at 7. We had Rake on earlier, Ben Davis, Center Grove. 11th in the nation, Center Grove with USA Today. Carmel at Pike, Columbus North at Roncalli, Guerin at Burbuff. Great action between undefeated HSC and Fishers. Chittard at Cathedral, that's at Arlington. Ellen at North Central, Mount Vernon at New Pal. Nice slate in week 4. College football-wise, what are you watching tomorrow, Brendan King? Not a lot of great games here within the state. Anything catching your eye outside of your Colorado State Vanderbilt pick?
Colorado State money line, jump on it. Both teams stink, but nobody stinks more than Vanderbilt. Late game, West Coast, Colorado, 10 p.m. start. SEC team, no chance. I mean, our Irish, got to watch them on Peacock, unfortunately. But I got the Irish at minus 14. Got it early.
Ooh, okay.
So
Toledo, low-key, sounds like they're good. Sounds like they're kind of like Ball State. Pretty good MAC team. Ball State in Happy Valley, they are plus 22.5 against the Nittany Lions. Indiana State at Northwestern, so the Fighting JMVers head up there to Lake Michigan. IndyCar on Sunday, back on 3 races to end the year, all out west. Green flag at 3:30, quals tomorrow. No Portland race last year because of COVID, and obviously a ton of attention on that points race that has flipped and gotten much, much narrower over the past few races.
Also like Texas -7 at Arkansas. Arkansas is bad.
We'll get into a few picks in our final segment as well. I know something you wanted to mention earlier, Brendan King, last night.
Yeah, Butler Bulldog Hall of Fame entrance, Hinkle Fieldhouse last night. The 2010 and 2011 Final Four teams were inducted into the Butler Hall of Fame. Brad Stevens was in Hinkle, Gordon Hayward, Shelvin Mack, Avery Jukes, everybody, and then in remembrance on Andrew Smith's birthday.
Saw that.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Great turnout. Looked like a fun night over at Hinkle Fieldhouse, and that leads into Butler homecoming this weekend.
It's going to be great. Is Brad here for the weekend? Is he chilling? Is Gordon here for the weekend?
Yeah.
Is Shelvin here for the weekend? I mean, those are questions that need to be answered.
If you want to start any Brad Stevens rumors, Greg Doyle didn't seem to like the one that I gave to him last week.
Brad Stevens back to Butler? Anybody?
you can go down that path. I think there will be a lot of Butler people that sign up for that.
Yeah.
He's Brendan King. I'm Kevin Bowen, and we come back on the Fan Morning Show. It's Pop Quiz Time. Freebie Friday, 317-239-1070. Join us for the pop quiz, Scotty J. Got a tricky one to start, but I think it's doable after that. And we'll get into our picks, Colts-Seahawks, and other picks for this weekend as well.
Hey, it's JMV. The Colts are back. It's BullseyeEventGroup.com. The Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. That is your pregame party before the Colts and the Seahawks battle. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
The JMV sucks, but his Larceny Bourbon golf outing doesn't. Benefiting Teachers Treasures is back again. Visit 1075thefan.com to learn how to get your tickets.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Everyone needs a passion.
Young people, especially.
That's one of the reasons why high school sports are so powerful.
Because they give student athletes purpose, something to be passionate about. I'm Sandra Walter.
And I'm Robert Falcons. We're both assistant commissioners for the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
And we're passionate about preserving the purity of high school sports.
They're the purest form of sport left. They're played on a level playing field.
And they're played for school and community pride.
They promote sportsmanship and build character.
And this year, we are thrilled to welcome back our passionate fans.
So buy a ticket to your school's next sporting event.
And experience the passion and the purity of high school sports.
The athletes and schools deserve your support.
This is your team. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Hey, it's Jimmy Cook here for PicksWise, the #1 home of free sports betting picks. Visit PicksWise.com today and make your next bet better. Never visited PicksWise.com before? Well, you need to. Why? Because they are indeed free. You'll see countless sites that tout selling you a month of picks and then offering you an extra free month if their plays fail to make a profit. If you're tired of losing money and paying for picks, then bookmark PicksWise.com and enjoy our daily free picks. The PicksWise team of trend-watching, data-devouring sports fanatics will help you wade through the minutia and give you the who, how, and why behind the what for every prediction they make, all for free. Go to PicksWise.com and see for yourself why they are the #1 home of free sports betting picks, props, and parlays. And while you're at it, download the free PicksWise app now to make your next bet better. PicksWise backs responsible gambling. If you or someone you know wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Running a business comes with pressure. Remote workforces, HR compliance, retaining top talent. You start to feel boxed in. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR service and technology to work, offering my employees competitive benefit options while lightening my HR load. Instead of obstacles, I'm surrounded by people empowered to be their best. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is the present? Well, it's the perfect time to call Golden Oak to find out how much money you can save. Home values are up, which means you have more equity than you think. There's no time like the present to take advantage of our low 2.25% rate. Visit GoldenOakLending.com today.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Sports with Dan Dakich.
Matt Taylor joins us, the voice of the Colts. Who impressed you in the preseason?
Not that I didn't think I was going to be impressed by Mike Strawn, a 7th-round draft pick. It's a really, really cool story. He's a great guy, and I think he's got just a lot of potential. I don't think he's anywhere near reaching his ceiling right now, Dan. I think he's going to be a really, really good football player for the Colts.
Dan Dakich, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. Have you studied? Can you handle the pressure? Sharpen your pencils. It's time for the Fan Morning Show's Pop Quiz with Kevin Bowen. Brought to you by Jiffy Lube, Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
All right, it is Freebie Friday for the Pop Quiz, but, first Colts game of the year, Brendan King, I want to see someone give a great effort.
I do too.
I want to see someone sniff it.
I think we can.
Okay. All right.
I believe
are you saying
we
that
can.
we're going to give a lot of answers, or are you saying that
No,
you believe in our
they,
callers?
they might need help on number one, but
Number one is tricky.
Scotty has been mean as of late, or at least when I've been in here. So
number one is
maybe that's a coincidence.
Yeah. Brendan King's back in.
God, I hate that guy.
Let's see what I'm going to whip up. All right,
Yeah.
BK, number 1 through 8.
KB, it is week 4 of the high school football season. Zionsville, Franklin Central tonight. Number 4.
Jonathan.
Hey, good morning.
How you doing, Jonathan?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to this weekend, too. How about you guys?
Yeah, man.
I cannot agree more. I couldn't agree more with that. All right, again, number 1 is tricky. Brendan King, hit Jonathan with that.
Jonathan, don't overthink this. Purdue takes on UConn in college football action tomorrow. Who leads the all-time series between the Boilers and UConn?
Nobody.
Yes! Jonathan! Yes! He is locked in and ready to go. Let's bleep and go, Jonathan. All right, number 2. Tom Brady's start for the Buccaneers last night was the 300th of his NFL career, the most in league history. Who is second with 298 career starts? Drew Brees, Bruce Matthews, Jerry Rice, or Brett Favre?
Wow, that's a good one. I'm going to go with Brees.
What the hell is Brett Favre doing here?
All right, Jonathan. The Buccaneers beat
there's a clue.
What? Oh, the Buccaneers beat
Who
the
you going with, Jonathan?
Yeah, no,
Who
is that your final answer?
Who are you going with?
Yeah, Brees.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Jeez,
The Buccaneers beat the Cowboys in last night's NFL season opener. The defending Super Bowl 53 champion Kansas City Chiefs hosted last year's Thursday night opener. Who did the Chiefs defeat in last year's opener? The Patriots, the Steelers, the Texans, or the Browns?
Texans.
All right. On this day in 1961, the only American-born Formula One world driving champion was crowned. Name him. Dan Gurney, Phil Hill, Richie Ginther, Maston Gregory.
Phil Hill.
Nice.
Okay, all right, Jonathan.
Ball State travels to Penn State to face the 11th-ranked Nittany Lions tomorrow. Cardinals are 5-25 all-time, Jonathan, against ranked opponents, and they went 2-0 last year against top 25 teams. Name one of the 2 top 25 clubs Ball State beat last season.
Ooh.
Wow.
This is doable.
It's big.
One of them very late in the year.
Oh, are we sticking with Big Ten, too?
I don't know if we can give you many more hints than that, but I think if you remember, Jonathan, last year, the MAC could not play any teams outside of their conference.
Right. I'll go with Western Michigan.
All right, Western Michigan there
It's
for
a good
Jonathan to close it out. Good effort for sure. All right, number 1, Purdue takes on UConn in college football action tomorrow. Boilers favored by 30-4. Who leads the all-time series between the Boilers and the Huskies?
Nobody, Kev.
Boom, baby! First meeting, hopefully the last. Number 2, Tom Brady's start for the Bucs last night was the 300th of his NFL career, the most in league history. Second with 298 starts is who? He said the guy on the telecast last night pregame, Drew Brees.
Well, Drew is 286. Dykton gave him a hint, but it's Brett Favre.
What the hell is Brett Favre doing here?
You blew it!
tomorrow, you don't even get a lousy copy of our home game. You're a complete loser.
You lose. Good day, sir.
Tony, get your bag and get the hell out of here.
Packers suck.
Jonathan, appreciate the effort. Hang on the line. It is Freebie Friday. Really good. Besides that, Bruce Matthews, 293. Jerry Rice, 284 in starts. He got it, the next question right. The Texans was the team that lost the Chiefs last year in the opener. Phil Hill, the only American-born F1 World Driving Champion in 1961. Mario Andretti, born in Italy, is what Scotty points out there. And then lastly, Ball State beat 2 top 25 teams last season. I thought he'd get this. I don't know.
Yeah,
For some
told
reason,
late in the year.
I thought Jonathan had some chirp in his background. He went with Western Michigan.
It's either Buffalo or San Jose State, that Arizona Bowl win. Great game.
Buffalo in the MAC title game. That was a big upset. Remember, Buffalo had all that hype in that game, and then San Jose State was undefeated. Ball State had a big lead in that game and then kind of held on for dear life in the Arizona Bowl. We'll see if Ball State, we got to take Ball State to cover in Happy Valley, right?
You think so?
You got to. You got to.
You know, when my dad was getting his master's at Notre Dame, we went to a Penn State ND game at the stadium, tailgated. It was my first one ever.
Oh, wow. That's a great game.
Oh, I had a great time, but it was when I was a kid, and I was just losing my mind laughing because one of my dad's classmates would, every time Penn State turned the ball over, he'd go, "They're the knitting lions," and he would like motion with like his hands knitting. The knitting lions.
Literally sounds like something that my mom would do in the stands. All right, Jonathan, thanks for competing on the pop quiz. When we come back, we got to give our picks for Sunday, Colts and Seahawks, a few other things that we like, college football, NFL-wise as well. Brendan King, Kevin Bowen here, Fan Morning Show.
The first bet on Caesars Sportsbook app is up to $5,000 risk-free, people. When I told my team about the idea, they said I was being too wonderful and magnificent. But I don't care how awesome this makes me. I'm doing this for the people. So just download the app, and that first bet is up to $5,000 risk-free. Caesar made an app for the people.
Must be 21. Offer valid in Indiana only and for new players. Paid in bet credits. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Payless Liquors, your tailgating headquarters. Half-gallon sizes of Jim Beam White Label are only $26.99. Ron Rico Rum, $13.99. Pop-Off Vodka, $8.99. And Bud Light 15-pack aluminum bottles are only $15.99. Plus, sign up at PaylessLiquors.com for your chance to see Peyton and Edrin get their rings at the Colts-Rams game for the Bud Light Fan Zone. Payless Liquors has 26 family-owned Central Indiana locations, and they're open 7 days a week. Don't pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors.
Hi, we're OfferPad, the new way homes are sold. Go to OfferPad.com, tell us about your home, and we'll send you a great cash offer. Or, if that's not your style, we can also list your home with tons of free OfferPad services. Free handyman fixes, house cleaning, yard work, and more to get your home show-ready. We can even advance renovation costs to maximize your home's value. Whatever way you want to sell, you're sold with OfferPad. Sell your way today at OfferPad.com. Terms and conditions apply. Real estate brokerage services provided by OfferPad Brokerage LLC. Equal housing opportunity.
BetRivers Sportsbook is ready to make this football season one to remember. All season long, you can score at BetRivers Sportsbook with free bets, odds boosts, and more. With player props, thousands of game lines, and live in-game betting, BetRivers Sportsbook delivers a best-in-class sports betting experience and has an experienced customer service team to back it up. Visit BetRivers Sportsbook today and bet this football season with a local trusted team that puts you first. Go to BetRivers.com and be a winner. Partner of French Lick Casino Resort. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448. Playable only in Indiana.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg. You may have heard there aren't any good deals on cars right now. Here's a secret. There are if you know where to look.
Why are you whispering, Rob? We've got great deals right now.
Brian, I'm letting everyone in on the secret.
Yeah, for the first time ever, Ford certified pre-owned cars are priced up to $4,000 below Kelley Blue Book.
Brian, shh! We've got great deals on new cars too.
New Escapes are $3,500 off and new EcoSports are $5,750 off. See, we have great deals.
Brian, shh! These deals won't last, so we gotta keep them quiet.
Oh, right. It's a secret.
Most dealerships scream prices that aren't really deals. At Bill Estes Ford, if you listen closely,
you'll find out. Save $3,500 on new Escapes and $5,750 on new EcoSports.
And $4,000 below Kelley Blue Book value on certified pre-owned. Darn it, Brian, you made me yell now.
Well, Rob, you shouldn't keep secrets.
Listen closely for the real deal. $3,500 off Escapes, $5,750 off EcoSports. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage rates drop again, creating opportunities for refinancing everywhere. At thehomeloanexpert.com, we are locking loans in the low twos, saving our clients hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with a simple refinance. And with our 21-day closing guarantee, you know we will not waste your time. The 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Your friends are hosting an online viewing party to watch a soccer match. But if your slow upload speeds were to make you sound like an evil robot...
Pass the ball! Pass the ball!
Whoa, who is that?
I'm sorry.
You're not an evil robot. You just need better internet. AT&T Fiber delivers a faster internet experience with 25 times faster upload speeds than cable. Visit att.com/25 times faster.
Limited availability in select areas based on Internet 1000 wired upload connection speed versus major cable providers 1 gig service with uploads of 35 megabits per second. Restrictions apply.
This is Unibet, one of Europe's leading betting apps. And this is Nigel.
Hello.
Nigel has just been promoted from head of Unibet Europe to head of Unibet US. Nigel doesn't know anything about American sports.
QB Scramble. Is that some sort of American frittata?
Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Get $500 risk-free and take advantage of the odds. Before Nigel figures them out. Unibet. Crazy about the odds.
Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Franklin Central hosts Zionsville on Friday Night Football. The action begins at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. It's the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
It is a gorgeous Friday here in the Circle City, setting up an awesome weekend. Again, Dan, from noon to 3. John will be down at the Mucky Duck on the south side, Bud Light, giving away 50 tickets to the game on Sunday against the Seahawks, along with 50 Bud Lights. And to some people, on a Friday afternoon after working, who knows what means more to them. But, yeah, check that out. Mucky Duck, one of my favorite spots in town. Colts Happy Hour at 6, Zionsville at Franklin Central at 7 on our airwaves, and then Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk at 9:30. We're going to give our Colts-Seahawks picks here, touch on the other game in the AFC South, just one game, other game in the AFC South this week with the Texans and the Jags meeting each other, and just any other games we feel really good about. College, NFL. BK, you have hit on Colorado State, Vandy already, and I believe you said Texas over Arkansas.
Yeah, I like 3 college football games, KB. I'll take Colorado State money line against Vandy, 10 o'clock in Colorado at home. Vandy stinks, lost to East Tennessee State last week. Colorado State also stinks. They lost to South Dakota State. That's a little more respectful than losing East Tennessee State when you're an SEC team. Colorado State money line. Texas laying the 7 on Arkansas on the road. And then I like BYU +7 against Utah. Jaron Hall, their quarterback's a stud. Kid that replaced Zach Wilson. Really like him.
Wow, so you are going a little outside the box here with some of these games.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have made it a rule where I do not bet week 1 college football anymore. I think the uncertainty just kills people, and it just screwed me over the years.
So then you overreact to what happens week 1 with your week 2 bets.
That's right.
Week 1 wasn't great to me either.
Yeah, it's a sucker bet.
Mark, anything you like on the college slate?
I've been perusing. I'm not as onto the college scene as Brendan is. I kind of like Oregon against Ohio State. I know that
really
sounds crazy.
I feel like a lot of people are going the other way with that.
Yeah, I know.
Especially Oregon's got the stud pass rusher. He could be out for that game. I saw that it was 14.5. Was that the last I saw?
I'm looking right now. 14.5 Ohio State. Now, see,
do you believe in the 9 a.m. local time kick for the Oregon Ducks?
I should say I think Oregon will cover the 14.5. I think it'll be a closer game. I shouldn't say outright win. Let's not get crazy here.
Well, if you'd have said money line, we would have been. Someone would have thrown you out.
I think FanDuel would have ended their endorsement of me.
Exactly. I think we have to sprinkle Indiana State 26.5 against Northwestern and Ball State 22.5. at Penn State.
Little Salt Bay.
Just a little nice sprinkle for our my father went to Indiana State. My mother went to Ball State. You got to sprinkle that. You got to sprinkle that.
And they created an IU man.
Who was a Notre Dame fan.
Yes.
Because he didn't have the money nor the grades.
Reversible jacket.
To get his out there. No reversible jacket, just purely Notre Dame, to be honest with you. Okay. Tennessee, the Volunteers, they are plus 3.5 at home to Pittsburgh. How the mighty have fallen. How? It's Pittsburgh. Like, Tennessee has got to get that win. Or cover. Whatever. So, I like that. I like Greg Schiano going up to the Carrier Dome where they're a 1.5-point favorite. I like Rutgers.
It's a great game.
At Syracuse. This is overreaction to what happened week 1. But I'll take Iowa getting 4.5 at Iowa State.
I have that written down.
I do too.
Okay.
Hawkeyes?
See, now I don't like it because we all like it.
No. I like Iowa. Oh, yes. Hawkeye, sorry. For some reason,
now I don't like it.
Thought you said Cyclones. Yes. So I like right there. Tennessee plus 3.5 at home against Pittsburgh. Rutgers minus 1.5 against Syracuse. Iowa plus 4.5 Iowa State.
Sounds good. I
stuff,
guess
boys.
Brendan's jumping off ship, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can't do that. That's like Sunday Night Football picking the same. Everybody picking the same team. The way they did that with Tampa Bay last night. Though. They almost cursed the Bucs.
I mean, Rodney Harrison's like, this is gonna be a blowout.
Yeah.
The line that is weird to me and just shows you how this program has fallen, because it's not like the team they're playing is some juggernaut, or at least what they used to be. USC is favored by 17.5 over Stanford.
Wow.
Stanford. David Shaw used to be like, every NFL team wants to hire
the guy.
him.
Yeah.
And now that program, their days of having 5 tight ends on the field at one time seem to be done. Or seem to be not working, I should say.
That's wild.
Okay, NFL bets. Anything league-wide you guys like? I mentioned Chargers over Washington. I like the Dolphins +3 over New England. I like Green Bay minus 3.5 against the Saints. Remember, that game's in Jacksonville, so it's not Superdome. I like Green Bay over over New Orleans.
I had that written down. I'll take the Sam Darnold revenge game. Panthers -4 over the Jets and Zach Wilson's first NFL start. Defensive head coach. I like Matt Rule a whole lot. I like Darnold after the 2 joint practices, so I'll take his revenge game -4. We were talking off the air, AFC South. If the Jaguars cannot lay 3 on Houston, I mean, what's the point of watching either of those teams?
I like Jacksonville as well. Mark, Jacksonville, Houston.
Oh, Jaguars for sure.
If they can't lay 3 on Houston, I mean,
you don't think it'll be a raucous environment for David Culley and Tyrod Taylor in Houston?
Oh my
and
goodness.
the Chiefs 5.5 favorites against the Browns. I'm hammering that. I think the Chiefs are going to destroy the Browns.
And then Mike Wells is waiting for you by your car.
And Rams 7.5 over the Bears. You better take the Rams because they are going to destroy Andy Dalton.
Coming from a Bears fan there.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly. Bears will be lucky to score 20 points.
Should we do Colts?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, last I saw was 3. Is that what you're seeing over there, Mark?
That's what I see, yes.
Over under of 50. Let's start with the over under. High scoring.
I already took the over 49.5. I think the corner factor is really going to play. I see a
for
shootout.
both teams.
Yeah, I see a shootout.
Okay. Mark,
only live once.
Under?
I'm taking the over. Are we doing picks right now too?
Yeah, I am. Well, let's stick with over under real quick. I'm slightly over as well. But I don't have a great feeling on that because I still think the defensive fronts for both these teams are pretty good. Seattle, new offensive coordinator. Colts obviously have their question marks with their quarterback situation, so I'm not as in love with that. But go ahead, Brendan King. We'll start with you. Colts-Seahawks 1:00. It is a 3-point favorite for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not go Colts +3? I mean, I know we kind of differ on the first 2 games. I have the Colts beating Seattle and losing to LA. I know you have the inverse. So, Colts +3. I love it. Let's roll.
You got a score? You said the over, right?
Yeah.
You go in.
Let's go. Let's go 36-30.
Ooh, that's big. Mark Dykton?
Seahawks 31-24. I am greatly concerned with that wide receiver tandem of Metcalf and Lockett going up against the Colts secondary. Yeah. That concerns me greatly.
That's well put, well said. I would agree with you. I'm optimistic that Carson Wentz can get to a level that's above average quarterback play league wide at this season. I don't expect it to happen on Sunday. I don't expect it to happen really early in the season. I think he'll be a little bit rocky. And we talk about the cornerback injuries. We talk about the depth as well. So I have the Seahawks 27-24. So I guess I'm in the push route of the old -3 line there. Mark shakes his head like I'm soft. I'm just being a realist with how I think the score will indicate. Russell Wilson touching the ball in the fourth quarter when the game is on the line. I don't feel
spooky.
Yeah, I don't feel good about that.
That's like ghouls and goblins type stuff.
Yeah. Any storylines within the game that you guys think? We've talked about the cornerbacks, obviously confining Russell Wilson, Jonathan Taylor related, Michael Pittman, anything else that you guys are keeping an eye on here in the opener?
I think most Quitty Pay getting his first big start against a legit left tackle.
Yeah,
Dwayne Brown may
point.
be older, 4-time Pro Bowler though, and like I said to Mate, Quitty's had a lot of quizzes, and they've been quizzes that he has aced. Here's an exam for you.
Yeah.
One other bet that I had for the weekend, at some point, bet Chris Bryant anytime home run at Wrigley Field. He's going to hit a home run against Cubs. It's going to happen.
Going back to the Quitty Pay thing, your rush discipline against Russell Wilson is huge. The Colts love to stunt. That's a big thing with Matt Eberflus. If Russell Wilson sees a lane and you're not disciplined with those rushes, boom, he's going to take advantage of it big time there. So, and I'm interested as well, do you see a Leonard Okereke spy? Is that something? I feel like you got to have a safety over the top on Metcalf. Do you see any spies? Mark, we got about a minute left. Anything?
DeForest Buckner begins his Defensive Player of the Year candidacy. I expect him to get at least a sack on Sunday. We'll see. And then also Carson Wentz, because if he does not play well, with all the time he missed in training camp and all that, I can only imagine what the phone lines and Twitter are going to look like Monday morning.
And we'll have Jeff Saturday. Correct?
Yes, we will.
We're going to have Jeff Saturday every Monday here as we get into the football season. Again, it's going to be Dan Dockich, noon to 3. JMV going to round things out from 3 to 6. Happy hour begins at 6 p.m. JMV will be down at the Mucky Duck. And Zionsville Franklin Central at 7 o'clock and Indiana Sports Talk at 9:30. We are going to end the show a little bit earlier than we normally do today. Obviously, tomorrow, the 20th anniversary of September 11th and the 20th anniversary of one of the most horrifying days in our nation's history. So did want to take a little time of silence to end the show as a small way to remember everyone who lost their lives on that day, all of our first responders, and certainly the heroes on Flight 93 and our troops who have fought for our freedom. So everybody have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday.